And welcome back to another Science Saturday stream, ladies and gentlemen. My name is AZ Axel, also known as Alex Murray. You can call me either or. It's not a problem at all. And welcome back to another Science Saturday, episode 3 of our Backyard Project here on the OOTP Developments Twitch channel. I am very happy to see you all here. I hope you guys have been having a great weekend so far. And, you know, I mean, we're talking a lot in the chat about quality and Twitch stuff. And yes, I do stream at the highest quality out of all of the Twitch streamers for our for our game, let's just say. I'm closer to the 4K, not 4K quality resolution, but the 4,000 kilobytes per second range for a stream. So, where I'm pretty sure TJ and Rich are doing like 3250 or 3500, I do 4000 almost. So, if you guys have any problems with the stream, please do let me know, because I am trying to, you know, at least have, because I don't have the content that, that Chris can bring out. I don't have the ball caps that TJ can bring out, and I don't have the guitar, and my cat would never want to be on screen like Rich. I at least make up for it with high quality stream and baseball league. So welcome everybody to the episode 3 of the Backyard Project here on the Twitch channel. So let's recap where we were last couple of episodes. I also have the high quality memes. That's very true. That's true. That's my thing now officially. So, you know, hey, I try to be the professional at least, all right? Yeah, I can't get the TJ's beard and hair combo. I mean, I have the hair, but I definitely don't have the beard. I'm just never gonna get to that point, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and pull out the music, because we don't need to have that in the background at this point. We'll close out of that, close out of this, and close out of the Spotify, because we don't need that anymore either. All right, so let's review where we left off with our Backyard Project, and then let's just jump right into today's game, because if anybody has been aware about what we're doing today, if anyone hasn't been aware about what we're doing today, we are going to be watching the 2 best submitted pitchers go at it today, and seeing who wins out of that matchup, because that is, of course, Abenduct versus, oh gosh, I don't remember his, Tetcher. Tetcher versus Abenduct is going to be our game today. That is the team of the Windsor Whistlers versus, I believe it is the Bismarck Mythics. That's correct. See, I still remember, guys. It's been a week, but I still remember. It's not like I've been looking at this screen for the entire little bit of time, and I forgot to hide those. My apologies. Anywho, I wanted to show you guys how the week has turned out for everybody else before we get started. So, of course, I forgot to turn that on before I got started here. But either way, let's go ahead and unreveal those for a second here now. So these are the scores for the week. So if you guys were watching the Discord channel and you guys were seeing all of the clips that were going up, basically I went ahead and played 2 of the games over the course of the week. Watched the rest of them because I actually wanted to get some looks at their 3D models and everything to make sure they looked good. And we watched a bunch of these. I watched a bunch of these games and kind of just observed stuff and made sure stuff was working correctly. So these are the scores we've had so far for this Saturday at this point. The Robins ended up winning their game 3-2 over the Queen's Nobles, so no reason to boo there at this point. The Giants, yes, the Giants lost again. The Giants had 3 errors and got caught trying to they got thrown out of the plate twice. And then they also had like 2 caught stolen bases on the field with 2 stolen bases to go along with it. So the Toronto Giants kind of just shot themselves in the foot, so to say. I think that's the phrase to use for that. Basically, the Giants lost to themselves. Like, this was a game they easily should have won. They had 15 hits. They had multiple opportunities to score off of Todd Xavier. and they just didn't. So unfortunately, the Giants did not win. Let's just say that much is for certain. He did not win. Mikey Thomas had his sixth home run of the season. The captains, Virginia Beach and their captain's team lost to the Memphis Kings. That brought both of their records to 5-4. So that was a cool game to watch right there. The Kings unloaded in the 5th inning off of homers by Munson and Gofanen. So that was a great game to watch right there. There's been a lot of homers today, even though it's all of the aces pitching. The Salem Warlocks beat the Portland Pioneers to keep Portland in the bottom bracket, unfortunately. That was a 2-6 versus a 2-6 team. So either way, the Toronto Giants were going to have company in the bottom of the bracket, no matter what happened. So that wasn't going to be a problem at this point. Salem had a good day, though. Del Vecchio hit a homer. Arthur Dane had a homer. Mike Piazza had a homer for Portland. The only solo shot they had for the evening. So a good job by Hellerman to basically silence the Portland Bats, who have just not gotten off to a good start this season so far. And then Ken Griffey Jr. pretty much solo carried the Houston Apollos to a 8-4 victory in Centennial, as he had 2 home runs. He had 5 RBIs. He was monstrous for the Houston Apollos today. So they moved to 8-1. The Durham Goats won their game 1-0. That was the game I watched last night. And nobody scored outside of the 3rd inning, and it just ended. And it was oh, okay, cool. So that's the one game where nobody could get a hit at all. Del Vecchio had a great performance. Randy Johnson basically gave up 1 double, and that was it. He had a runner on first base, and the person scored on a double, and that was it. That was the ball game. Both teams just couldn't muster up any hits at all. So today's game, as I mentioned, is going to be the pitching matchup between Benjamin Abenduct and Ryan Tetcher. And I'm interested to see if we have both Dishnet and To Be Determined in the chat today, because these are both of their submissions. They're both 3-0. You can see that Tetcher struggled a little bit more than Abenduct has. He has the 3.33 ERA, but he has been getting that down ever since his game against the Marmots, where they actually lost that game 4-5. He did not take the loss for it, but did give up 4 runs in 6 innings of work. So we'll see what happens with the majorly stuffed curveball, changeup, slider, knuckleball, Ryan Tetcher, and then of course we should also mention the ace, the Cy Young potential person. Oh, I missed a game. My apologies. I forgot about the Koalas. Yes, the Koalas won their game 3-2. My apologies. They scored they scored 3 runs on 8 hits in this game. Frazier and Quinn had homers off of Harding, I believe, and they ended up winning that game. Another game where a lot of people scored runs early on in the game, and then just nothing else happened. So it was kind of boring to watch, in all honesty. But I'm glad I didn't. No, I did record that game. I did. That's right. Yeah, I did record that game. Never mind. So anywho, today's game is going to be, of course, the Whistlers versus the Mythics. We wanted to check out Abenduct before we get started. This is Benjamin Abenduct. He's got the amazing curveball, changeup, knuckleball. Not a great fastball, which means his slider's not so good. But he's an extreme ground ball pitcher with a good ability to strike people out as well, because his stuff is just so good. He has lights out control. And above, I mean, it's great. It's great movement. It's not amazing movement, but it's great movement. So we're going to be seeing this game here live today. And then there's a chance, and I actually forgot to bring this up on my screen. There's a chance that if we're fast enough, because I started early for this stream, so we're only technically about 10 minutes into the stream, there is an opportunity for us to be able to actually play a second game. Because there is technically a second game that we're interested in watching. And that would be the Goats at the Marmots. That would be Angela Del Vecchio, Albert Pujols versus Greg Maddux and Ichiro Suzuki. So there's actually a chance that we do a second game today if we're fast enough. But that game is all the way in, what is that, May 27th. So we'd have to simulate an entire month to get there. So we'll see if that's the game we start off with next week or if we finish with that game tonight. So let's not beat around the bush. I've already put out the statistics on a spreadsheet for you guys. That was for the past week I've done that. So you guys can take a look at the statistics for this league. You guys can actually look through all the stuff on there. It's part of our Discord. If you're not part of our Discord, join it. Please join our Discord. It's fantastic. It has a lot of users. We have a lot of good conversations on there. We discuss a lot about the game, strategies, elements of it, and all that kind of stuff. And you guys can review all the statistics for every single player. The ones that I thought were most important, at least, I put up. And you can check your players out as well. So if you want to know what your player's doing while we're in between Saturdays, you can absolutely do that. Oh, and thank you, DishNet. I forgot we had a command for that. Forgot about that. It's doing it early enough that I can watch. Yep. This is why we like doing the 12 noon my time. It's actually only 12 o'clock in Arizona right now. So we like doing the earlier streams on Saturdays, so that way the European people or anybody else who's in a different time zone might have a shot at watching this, versus doing another 6 or 7 o'clock at night for me stream, which no one's going to be able to reach that. I mean, even the East Coast people have a hard time staying up till 10. Where on Discord, that would be the Backyard Project channel. So if you go to your Discord and you've joined that server, the Backyard Project, is what it's called. And it's right underneath the text channels groupings. And then right in there, if you just scroll up just a little bit, you can see my post of the TBP spreadsheet. And then you can just download that or just view it. And you should be good to go with that. All right. Let's do this, guys. Let me get some water into my system really fast before we grab this new game. And let's see how these two top-tier pitchers perform, shall we? Oh, I wanted to check one quick little thing. I noticed that my 3D models were a little bit off. So let me just double-check and make sure that we're actually going to be looking at the right... Okay, yeah, that can go up a little bit. Like about there. And then can I maybe go... Actually, I need to go back technically. Oh, the issues of trying to do this live on stream. But I noticed that my 3D models, the camera views are a little bit off. They're not exactly the way I'd like them to be. So let's do something more like that. That can be our default. And that will be... I think good enough for us. Maybe a little bit more up, though. Let's try that. There we go. That'll at least make it so that way we don't have too much of a problem trying to watch the game and have all the stuff on the screen. Because otherwise, it looks bad. All right, let's do it. And let's not quick play it. We want to watch it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 5-3 Bismarck Mythics taking on the 3-5 Windsor Whistlers. The Whistlers have won every single time. Well, not every time. Technically, Abenducks pitched 4 games, and they had a no decision for 1 game. But both of these aces, 3-0. Abenducks with his 1.32 ERA and his 14.8 K per 9 up against Ryan Tetcher, a.k.a. DishNet. 3-0, 3.33. He likes those threes, I'm noticing. With a 0.90 whip. So he's got some ground to cover compared to Abenduct. But the hitting behind Tetcher has been a little bit better than it has been for Abenduct. You can see the 0.59 batting average for Andy Greenberg, one of the better hitting first basemen. Well, he's more for defense technically, but he's supposed to be a bit better than that. So the Whistlers are looking for improvements from Petrovic and Greenberg, and they want to continue to see great improvement or the same level of performance from Tony Gwynn, Maria Luna, and Nomar Garcia-Parra. Abenduct has not walked a single batter yet. Not at all. Oh, these are just the positions, guys. These are compared by position. If we go by lineups, this is the official lineups for each squad, but I want to compare by positions first. So, yes, Abenduct's control has been phenomenal so far this season. He does not give up many free bases. So, this is just the positions, guys. I'm just checking positions. We'll look at the lineups in a second here, but I just want to give you guys an idea of who's playing. So we're going to be seeing Ivan Rodriguez versus Dandruff behind the plate for both sides. Dandruff has actually been really, really good so far this season. Ivan needs to get the bat around, but his defense is phenomenal. Both of these catchers are phenomenal defenders, so this is going to be a fun catcher's game. Andy Greenberg is the first baseman for the Whistlers. Kevin Lewis, one of the best submitted hitters, is the first baseman for the Mythics. So we're looking to see homers from Kevin Lewis. That's what we want to see right now. Dmitry Petrovic, second baseman for the Whistlers. Second baseman for the Mythics is going to be David Van Hute. Hute's batting .306 for the season, definitely winning that advantage so far. The third basemen are going to be Fabtron7 versus Alex Rodriguez. And A-Rod has not been performing well with his 161 batting average. So we're looking to see if A-Rod can finally pull together some hits. Nomar Garcia-Parra and Andrew Fox are our shortstops for the evening. Both have been performing very well so far for this season. I remember correctly, Andrew Fox is also a decent fielder. Yeah, so it's going to be a fun matchup for the shortstops. For the outfielders, we're going to be seeing Maria Luna, Tony Gwynn, and Jeff Conine against Alfonso Soriano, Judah Powers, and Eric Von Koln, who had a name change over the week, and I did get that edit in, so that has been done. In regards to the lineups, this is what the lineups are going to look like. We're going to be seeing Andy Greenberg, Tony Gwynn, Fabtron7, Nomar Garcia-Parra, Ivan Rodriguez, Jeff Conine, Maria Luna, Dmitry Petrovic, and of course the pitcher, Benjamin Abinduct, who is red hot right now. On the Mythics, we're going to be seeing Andrew Fox, David Van Hute, Kevin Lewis, Alex Rodriguez, Alfonso Soriano, Dandruff, Eric Von Koln, Judah Powers, and of course their pitcher, Ryan Tetcher. All right, let's get into this game, guys. Let's see what happens, and let's see who beats each other in the matchup of the aces here at Mythics Park. So welcome everybody to Mythics Park. Oh, I forgot I have to edit these. Hold on a second. Forgot I was using the widescreen, and this is not a widescreen. So everything is going to need to be a little bit smaller, please, for the day. I forgot to get that fixed beforehand. My apologies. We can keep the massive people's screens, but we can't keep everything else. So, that should not have been minimized. Thank you. Nope, I did not click on that. Thank you. Okay, there we go. That's what it's supposed to look like about there. Dandruff for MVP. I mean, if he keeps doing as well as he's been doing so far this season, there is a chance. There's always a chance. So, I don't have any problem about that, in all honesty. All right, so, again, welcome everybody to the Mythics Park, home of the Bismarck Mythics, which look like the Mythies if you look at their name and you don't look at it too hard. They're going to be looking at a pretty decent outfield. I would say most of those are at least Gold Glove caliber outfielders, and the infield's very, very strong, and the catcher is definitely a Gold Glove caliber catcher. So these Mythics come to play. This is a great team at this point. Oh, you think you like this camera angle? Just wait until you see the next one. So, I have gone through and done a whole bunch of changes, so you guys are going to finally see some of the really good changes we've done for this game. Well, not for the game, but for this league in particular. So, hopefully, you guys are going to enjoy this presentation of this game, because it's going to be a little bit different and a little bit nicer, hopefully. So, again, Ryan Tetcher on the mound for the Bismarck Mythics. We're going to be seeing Greenberg, Gwynn, and Fabtron7 for the top of the first here at Mythics Park. So again, this is Mythics Park. Welcome everybody. Nice stadium, nice open wide. Feels like we're kind of slanted downwards looking into the city, but it's okay. Just don't worry about that. So hey, you know what? Hey. Just enjoy it, all right? Just enjoy it. Enjoy the subway commercials too. Up first course, Andy Greenberg flies it out towards right field. It's going to fall though. Nicely done by Greenberg. Gets the base hit to right as it looked like it was probably going to hold up, but then it just dropped in front of the right fielder, Eric Von Koln. So that'll bring up Tony Gwynn Sr. Greenberg can run, by the way. How did I do what? The whole entire, the camera angles? You guys want to know about the camera angles? All right, I guess I should explain it. So we have initial camera set to default. We have pitch camera set to center field close, with an extreme FOV. Oh, the camera movement. Oh, you can do camera movement. Yeah, camera movement, if you go to your game options. You can have dynamic zoom enabled, and you can also have movement delays, transition times, movement speeds, zoom factors. All of the action shots, you can actually have it pan, follow the ball. So if you have that follow ball turned on, it will basically follow the play, or at least it'll follow the ball across the field. So, hey, that's kind of been in the game for a long time, guys. I mean, yes, we don't demonstrate that very often because it's a little bit blurry when you're trying to do it on a stream. But if you guys were watching any of the full games we did, these can become really, really good. Stop giving up hits to guys hitting under 100. I have to agree that's not a good start right there if you leave up a single to Andy Greenberg, who is fast as well. So we're going to be seeing a potential chance for a stolen base here, and we don't want that. Fabtron's going to take it in the back. It's even more funnier when it's a submitted player versus a submitted player. Oh, man. Well, it's, oh, no, that wasn't Fabtron. That was Tony Gwynn. Why are you hitting Tony Gwynn, Dishnet? You can hit Fabtron. I don't think that's a problem. But if you hit Tony Gwynn, now you got a problem about this. So I don't know what that was all about right there. But anywho, Tony Gwynn wears it on the back, and that'll put runners on first and second for Fabtron. He's going to pop it out towards right center. Nope, just to center. Falls in for a single. Oh, they're going to hold Greenberg at first, though. Okay. All right. TFA Dishnet for hitting Gwynn. All right, well, that leaves it up to Nomar Garcia-Parra. Bases low. This is not going well, Dishnet. It's not going well so far. Nomar Garcia-Parra is up with the bases loaded. Only 8 pitches so far for Tetcher at the moment. That's over towards third. It's going to fall in. Down the line it goes. It's going to be a double. And into the corner. I got to fix those corners still. That's going to be a double. Stand-up double for Nomar Garcia-Parra, scoring 2 runs. And the Whistlers are out to a 2-0 lead in the first inning. And that'll bring up Ivan Rodriguez. So Tetcher not on his game so far today. The control, probably not where he wants it to be. Stream curse. Oh, good grief. Take him out. There he goes. There's the control pitcher we were looking for right there. Tetcher gets Ivan Rodriguez a strikeout on a 1-2 pitch. Nicely done right there by Tetcher. Bringing up Jeff Conine. Maria Luna on deck at the moment. 1 man down in the inning. Conine will strike out as well. Okay, now the strikeouts are coming through for Dishnet. Okay, very good. Very good, very good. And that'll bring up Maria Luna. Chance to get out of the inning. Over to second base, a little ground ball. Over to first. And that'll finally get Dishnet out of the inning. But 2 runs do score. It was just that double. It was really just that double. But 2 runs is probably all Benjamin Abenduct needs. Benjamin Abenduct does not give up more than 1 run, or maybe 2, in a game. So this is going to be hard for the Bismarck Mythics, but let's see what they can do. As you can see, the outfield, infield, and catcher spots for the Windsor Whistlers. They have some glaring holes in their infield with Petrovic at second base, Gwynn in center field, and Conine in right. So there are opportunities to be able to put the ball out there and see if they can get some errors or some other stuff around. But otherwise, left side of the diamond's pretty good. Fabtron's a decent enough. He's actually a pretty good third baseman. Garcia-Parra's got excellent range at shortstop. They've got one of the best catchers behind the dish in Ivan Rodriguez, and one of the best first basemen in the game with Andy Greenberg. So let's see what happens when they have this defense go up against the ground ball heavy Benjamin Abenducte and the power heavy Bismarck Mythics. Make Dishnet play for the New York Mets. The new New York Mets. Oh, dear. Andrew Fox up first here in the bottom of the first inning. Let's see if the Mythics can come back with a retaliation of their own against Benjamin here. Benjamin's going to get a first strikeout of his day. Full count strikeout on the knuckleball. Fox was hoping it would drop out of the strike zone, but it hit just... Oh, wow. Pitch number 6, you can see it. Just at the knees, right on the outside part of the plate. Well pitched right there by Benjamin Abenduct. That was beautifully right on the line. All right, David Van Hoot, high contact, high eye. Batter up next. He's going to put it in play over to the shortstop. Nomar Garcia-Parra fields it up, throws it over to first. And that'll be the second out of the half. And that'll leave it up to Kevin Lewis, 116 power, 3 homers, 10 RBIs, 308 batting average for the season so far. The lefty wails and deals, and it's going to be a walk. 5-pitch walk. That's the first walk of Abenduk's season. And it's to the perfect person because you really don't want to give Lewis something too good. So the stream has broken many things in the 5 minutes we've been doing already. But Lewis gets the first walk of Benjamin Abenduk's season, putting him on first base. And we have Alex Rodriguez up here now to see if we can get some runs back against Abenduk and the Whistlers right here. A-Rod's going to put it in play out towards center. It's well struck up against the wall, and it's off against the wall. Center fielder trying to make a nice play right there. Gwynn couldn't get it in time, and that's going to potentially score a run. They're not even going to have a relay throw home, and coming home is Lewis. It's a 2-1 ball game. A-Rod smacks it off the center field wall. That was driven really well. I was actually hoping it was going to be gone, but the worst hitter on the Mythics gets it done. So we're going to be destroying all of the expectations in today's game as A-Rod doubles and scores Kevin Lewis. So the Mythics are back at it again. Alfonso Soriano, 3 homers, 9 RBIs, 265 batting average for the season so far. Abenduk has already given up a 1 run here. And he's going to strike out Alfonso Soriano to end the inning. So they'll leave the runner on second. I have suddenly changed my opinions on steroids. Go for it, A-Rod. Go for it. So much for the pitchers duel. We have a 2-1 ball game heading into the top of the second inning. Petrovic up first here for the Whistlers, and he's going to strike out looking on a beautiful low pitch right there by Tetcher, who has now had 40 strikeouts for the season. As that one was actually a little bit up. That was kind of down the middle. Surprised Petrovic just took that across the plate, but he did. The pitcher, oh gosh, okay, so Tetcher has an agenda today. I may have to look into this. How many people have been hit? I mean, sure, we're supposed to be young arms, but Dishnet. Dish. Do we have a problem here? Do I need to intervene for something? Like, this is getting out of hand. Andy Greenberg up next, runner on first base after the hit by pitch. And he's going to strike out looking on a nice full count knuckleball right there by Tetcher. All right, so Tetcher just wanted to prove to Abenduk that he can do the same thing that he can do, I guess. So that'll leave it up to Tony Gwynn here in the top of the second inning. That's what you get for the low strikeout. Oh, Gwynn will ground out to the shortstop, who flips it over to the second baseman and retires the side. So outside of the second hit by pitch batter, which I guess Dishnet just letting it go today with all of the issues. The issues end up in people's backs. That's what's going to be the theme of today. So we'll see if Abenduk ever wants to retaliate for that. He'll be starting off with Dandruff and then Von Colin and then Powers for the inning here. So the catcher Dandruff up next. He's going to pop it up on the infield. Shortstop looks like he wants it. Yep, he's going to call him off, grabs the play, and Garcia Parra makes that look easy right there on the high pop up on the infield. Von Colin up next. I believe this is the right fielder for the Mythics. Ooh, is he going to strike out? Oh, it's a walk. He took the walk. A second walk on a 3-0 pitch. The miracle of miracles keep happening in this game. People getting hit by pitches, Abenduk walking players, giving up runs. This game is all over the place, guys. I don't know what to expect anymore. At this point, I just don't know. Judah Powers up next. I imagine you got to be bunting here, but I don't think you really can with Tetcher up next, so I think you're going to be seeing him hit. And that was neither of those. That was not a hit, and that was not a bunt. That was a full count strikeout on another changeup by Abenduk, just pretty much painting the bottom part of the strike zone. Gosh, that control is just so good when you can paint the knees and just lock people up. Tetcher's going to ground it out to the shortstop. They'll flip it over to first base instead of going to second base, and that'll end the inning. So neither team score a run in the second inning, although both of them had a different attributed walks, one hit by pitch and one walk. And we'll go to the top of the third. It's still 2-1. So both teams seem to have kind of settled down a little bit. Fabtron 7 Garciaparra and Rodriguez coming up next for the top of the third here for the Whistlers. Fabtron's going to put it in play. It's going to go right into the corner, into the gap area, and fall in for a single. Nicely done right there as he puts that right into no man's land in left center field. That'll put him on first base for Garciaparra. Garciaparra gonna strike out swinging on the knuckleball. A beautiful 1-2 pitch down in the dirt, it looked like. Yep, right down in the dirt by Tetcher. Beautiful location right there. Gets the swinging strikeout for Garciaparra. That'll leave it up to Ivan Rodriguez, potentially. He's going to put it in play to the shortstop. To second base they go. And they're not going to get him out at first base, though. Going in hard was Fabtron. And no chance for Van Hute to be able to make the throw over to first. And Ivan Rodriguez has got some speed, too. So they managed to get away with the double play. But it'll leave it up to Conine now with one man on and two men down. Here in the top of the fourth, I believe. Top of the fourth, I think. Flies it out to left field, lazy fly ball, and that will retire the half. So far, so good. Nope, top of the third. My apologies. I feel like it's the fourth, but it's only the third. So we'll go to the top of the order here in the third inning for the Bismarck Mythics. We'll be having Andrew Fox up first against Abinduct, who wheels and deals, and Fox puts it on the ground towards the third baseman. Over to first they go, and that'll be the first out of the inning at this point. You don't want to spike my second baseman, trust me. David Van Hute up next. He had the, I believe was it a fly out or a ground out in the first inning at this point? He'll ground it over to Garciaparra. He is a little bit fast, but Nomar just throws him out like it's easy. The cannon from short, and that retires Van Hute easily on the ground ball. It deep in the hole for Garciaparra too. So that'll bring it up to Kevin Lewis. He'll have to get something started here in the bottom of the third. He got the walk in the first inning, the first of Abinduct's career. This time he'll ground it over to shortstop. Garciaparra busy today so far. Throws him out, and that will end the third inning. I beat out that throw. I think everyone believes that. Come on, I could beat out Garciaparra's throw over. So we'll head to the top of the fourth. Bottom three of the lineup for the Windsor Whistlers. Luna, Petrovic, and Abinduct. Up against Tetcher, who has 5 strikeouts so far, but 59 pitches. So he's going to have to start looking out for that pitch count here pretty soon. Tetcher wheels and deals to Luna, and she pops it out towards left field. My apologies. On comes the left fielder, makes the grab, makes it look easy, and Soriano retires Luna. Petrovic is up next. He's going to line it out towards right. It's deep, and it's gone, I believe. Petrovic lines it over the right field wall for 368 feet. And the Whistlers take a 3-1 lead. Petrovic's second homer of the season. I think he got a pitch that was, high in the zone and just was able to line it out to right, going away with the pitch too. So impressive for the power swinging Petrovic right there to be able to muscle that one out towards right center field and just sneak it over the wall. What was the pitch? I believe that was 65 mile an hour knuckleball. So a left it up there knuckleball, unfortunately, which explains why that got demolished, unfortunately. The pitcher against the pitcher at this point. Abinduct will strike out on a knuckleball, making that number 6, I believe, for Tetcher at this point. So nice return fire against the pitcher right there. And Andy Greenberg, 2 men down here in the top of the fourth. 1 run already scored. Greenberg's going to strike out as well. So a couple of strikeouts, but the solo home run given up to Dmitry Petrovic makes it a 3-1 ball game for the Whistlers. We'll head to the bottom of the fourth. The Bismarck Mythics have more ground to catch up with now, unfortunately. They'll have Alex Rodriguez, Alfonso Soriano, and Dandruff against Abinducte, who has only thrown 44 pitches. Only 44 pitches. So we'll see what's going to happen here, unfortunately. Yeah, the homer literally turned the sky orange. A-Rod up first in the inning. He's going to strike out. Oh, man, he had a 2-2 pitch and watched the knuckleball come through for another strikeout for Abinduct. That's his 4th of the evening so far. Alfonso Soriano's up next, batting .257 at this point for the season. Alfonso Soriano's got the pitch coming. He's going to ground it over to second base. Petrovic fires it over to first. A little bit offline, but the first baseman holds on for the nice play, and that'll retire Soriano. That'll leave it up to Dandruff at this point. Good batting average Dandruff at this point. 364 for the season so far. Lefty here. Grounds it over to the second baseman. It's going to be a harder play, though. He fires it over to first. Just gets the runner by about a half step. And that'll finish the inning. So the Mythics cannot get anything started with the heart of their order in the bottom of the fourth. We'll head to the fifth with the Windsor Whistlers looking to push their lead even further. He was safe. Do a video replay. I mean, I actually can. Let's review that really fast here now. Dandruff grounds it over to second base. The slow roller. Fires it over to first. And out by about half a step. There's your replay, guys. Official replay. Official replay. And he is out. All right. Tetcher working. Oh, gosh. Tetcher. Why? What is it with Tony Gwynn? Second time in the game, Gwynn is just all up over the plate and gets whacked in the back. This one more towards the lower half of his back, it looks like, but that'll put Gwynn on first base for Fabtron 7 again. Yeah, I guess just leaning into it? I don't know. He's just jealous he can't get his FOTF card. Oh, man. Are those spitballs being thrown? Technically, they're called splitters. Splitters. We do not reference them as spitballs. That would be illegal. But as long as you call it a splitter, it's technically legal. So, you know, hey, that's what happens. Fabtron 7, runner on first base. Was that a balk? I have never seen this animation before, but I'm assuming that Tetcher just balked. He did. A 1-2 pitch, and Tetcher flinched. That puts Tony Gwynn on second base. Oh dear me! And yes, we can see your tests there, Calvin. Don't worry, we can see you. So let us know whatever you'd like to let us know. Oh man, Dishnet not having a good evening. A balk, a couple of a home run, 3 runs, no walks thankfully. But the Windsor team doesn't really need much help. As he gets the full count knuckleball strikeout, though, on Fabtron to make the first out of the inning. So that's a good pitch right about there by Tetcher. 8 strikeouts for the evening, 80 pitches, though, here in the top of the 5th inning. He's got Garciaparra up at the plate. Tony Gwynn over at second base, 1 man down. And he's going to get him struck out on another knuckleball. That is now officially 9 for Tetcher for the evening, as Garciaparra will go back to the dugout empty-handed, and it'll leave it up to Ivan Rodriguez. Ivan's the last potentially last chance here for the Windsor Whistlers in the top of the 5th inning. Runner on second base, and Ivan will strike out. So Tetcher strikes out the side after plunking Tony Gwynn and balking him over to second. It's all for naught, as Tetcher retires the side on strikeouts afterwards. So that's, 10 strikeouts now, I believe, for Tetcher at this point? So he's technically, in my opinion, he's out-dueling Abenduct. Abenduct's just getting lucky because a lot of balls are going right to fielders, which is his speciality. That's really what Abenduct does best, is make sure that a lot of contact is weak contact. Sorry about that. Needed some water really fast. All right, so we'll be heading into the bottom of the 5th inning. Bismarck trying to send out some more runs to the batters to the plate to get some runs. They'll have Van Coln, Powers, and Tetcher. So Van Coln up first. He's going to pop it up. Wow, that was a bad one. We still got to get those hooking, arcing shadows. Need to be fixed, please. But the third baseman will make that grab as Fabtron 7 puts it in his mitt in foul territory. So unfortunately, 5 pitches and a wasted at-bat there for Van Coln. I mean, then again, it's against Abenduct. There is no wasted at-bat. There really isn't a wasted at-bat. So, you know, hey, as long as you put it in play, I think that's good enough, considering this is Abenduct. That'll leave it up to Powers and the pitcher spot. Powers is going to strike out looking on another knuckleball from Abenduct, and that's his 5th strikeout for the evening at this point. Tetcher up next at this point. He has a hit for the season so far. That was still low. It was a bit low, actually, and inside, so that's a bad call right there by the umpire. Tetcher's going to strike out swinging. At least you're trying to swing the ball there, at least, Tetcher. Or swing the bat, at least. My apologies. You're at least trying to hit the ball. So that was a 2-strikeout inning, I believe, for Abenduct. Gets up to number 6 for the evening, and we'll head to the top of the 6th inning. Coincidentally, we'll have Conine, Luna, and Petrovic against Tetcher. 91 pitches Tetcher has at this point. The one looking strikeout against Powers was actually low and inside, so that was a ump call right about there. Strikeout number 11 for Tetcher on the 4th or 5th pitch of the evening gets him swinging on the slider. That's the first time I've ever seen the slider come out from Tetcher this evening so far, I believe. Maria Luna up next at this point. Tetcher is doing very, very well, all things considered, as she grounds out to the third baseman over to first. That'll be an easy play right there for Rodriguez, and that's 2 men down in the inning. That was a 1-pitch out right there, too, by Tetcher, so that's a good one right there. Petrovic is going to have, I believe, a 1-2 pitch on the way here. Oh, and that's going to hit him as well. Dish, we got to talk about this. Like, do I need to... DM me later. We need to discuss this hitting problem. Like, your control isn't that bad, okay? Like, do I need to give you more control? Is that what I need to do? That'll bring up the pitcher, Benjamin Abenduct. Runner on first base is Petrovic. Oh, wait, I know what it was. That was just revenge for the homer. That was revenge for the homer across the, in the opposite field, home run against Petrovic. That's what it was. Now, I remember what it was now. There we go. So Benjamin Abenduct will strike out swinging, and that'll end the inning, or at least the top half of the inning. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th. That was number 12, by the way, for Tetcher at this point. Send it to the team's alternative site. Fines and warnings. We need fines and warning. Oh, good grief. It's a quality start. It really is. Yeah. We'll have the top of the order here for the Mythics and the bottom of the 6th. Good chance to be able to try to get something started here against Abenduct. You got to get his pitch count up here, too. Abenduct wheeling and dealing here in the bottom of the 6th. Out to right field it goes, but it's probably going to be caught. Yep, just out to the right fielder at this point. And Conine retires Fox. David Van Hute up next. 0 for 2 for the evening so far. I don't think he's struck out yet, though. He's going to line it out towards left center field, but the left fielder's there. Makes the jogging catch, and Luna retires the second batter for the inning. And a 2-pitch out. Like, Tetcher's been dominant, but Abenduct has just been getting so many weak contact outs. He only has 77 pitches so far in the game, and that's fantastic. Come to Kansas City, Pitchers Park, nicer fans. Abenduct working against Kevin Lewis here, the number 3 hitter. He puts it out towards left. It's high and it's deep, but it's up against the wall. But it's that beautiful catch. Luna into the wall makes the retiring catch. Oh, what a play. Beautiful grab by Maria Luna in left field. Right into the wall with a leaping grab, stealing away extra base hits from Lewis. Oh, that would have been just what the Mythics needed right there. But a great catch. No fans or cardboard cutout fan options. That would have been really cool. That would have been pretty cool. Oh, so that'll take away any opportunity for a rally there for the Bismarck Mythics. And unfortunately, Ryan Tetcher's evening is also finished. They will close out his evening. 6 innings, 3 runs, and 12 strikeouts, I believe. And we'll head on to the new pitcher, which is Isaac Drummond. Hasn't had the greatest success in the world so far this season, but he is a fairly competent relief pitcher for the Mythics as he walks Greenberg to start off the inning, unfortunately. So that's not a good start. But we'll see what happens here as he's up against Tony Gwynn. Hopefully he won't hit Tony Gwynn. No, Gwynn gets the hit finally. He plops it out towards right field, and that'll be a single, unfortunately. Probably should have just hit him at that point. Greenberg will take third on the play, and they'll have first and third for Fabtron 7. So Drummond already in trouble here in the top of the 7th. 15 pitches already thrown. Fabtron 7 at the dish. Runner on first and third. grounded to shortstop. This might be 2. They will take the double play, but the runner will score. So Greenberg scores on the double play. But that at least gets the Mythics out of at least potentially a lot more damage, as you were, about to encounter Garciaparra and Rodriguez. So you'd rather have the bases empty for Garciaparra than anywhere close to being full. Drummond has to get out of this inning as fast as possible here. Garciaparra will strike out swinging, and that will end the half of the inning. So the top of the 7th is finished as the Windsor Whistlers pick up another run. And again, you don't need to give Abinduct that many runs for him to be able to win the game. So gotta hope for a couple of solo shots or something here to be able to get some runs on the board. Alex Rodriguez would lead us off here in the bottom of the 7th inning as the massive organ out behind center field rolls on and finishes, thank goodness. Alex Rodriguez leading off the bottom of the 7th here against Abinduct. He's going to push it over towards left. It's going to be a single. It'll fly through the gap into the left field. And as a leadoff single there for Alex Rodriguez, so a good job to start off the inning on a single note. That's a good start. Got to be able to put something into the gap here for Alfonso Soriano. He's 0 for 2 for the evening, but he does have 3 homers in the season so far. And Alex Rodriguez can steal if you want to try stealing on Ivan Rodriguez. I don't think A-Rod can steal on I-Rod, but we'll see what happens. It's going to be out towards the gap. It's well struck. Center fielder's ranging, but he'll be right in front of the warning track and making the grab. Soriano put a drive in it, but it was right in front of the warning track, and Gwynn was able to make the easy stroll over, make the catch, and record the out. Dandruff is up next. 0 for 2 for the evening so far. Could really use a hit right about here. Abinduct wheeling and dealing to him. Out towards the gap. It'll fall in. That'll be a single for Dandruff. Was able to muster the curve. I'm guessing that was probably... It was a changeup, actually. Okay. Got the changeup fought off and plumped it right into the... right into no man's land behind Garciaparra. So they'll have runners on first and second at this point. So runners on first and second. Vaughn Coln up next. Abinduct getting into a little bit of trouble here in the bottom of the 7th inning. 1 man down. 2 men on. And Vaughn Coln gonna get a pitch here. And this is out towards left field, but it's right at the left fielder. Oh, Luna just has to hustle a little bit to her right, make the grab, and none of the runners can advance. So that was a good shot right there by Vaughn Coln, but right at Maria Luna, and she was able to record that out. Any more down into either of the gaps, and that would have been a double right about there. So that'll leave it up to Judah Powers, unfortunately, the center fielder for the Mythics. 2 men on, 2 men down. Probably the last chance here for the Mythics to really get a good option against Abinduct, because I think Abinduct will finish up here after either 7 or 8 innings. So you got to capitalize right here. Powers will strike out, though. And it will kill the rally attempt by the Mythics on a full count swinging strikeout right there. So you can't say he didn't try, at least. Ugh is correct. All the ughs and ahs in chat. So Abinduct is well over 90 pitches now. Drummond will stay in to pitch the 8th inning. They need him to go too. So that first inning was not a good option for him. 27 pitches so far. Ivan Rodriguez up here in the top of the 8th. Sorry, I'm just thinking why I believe Rodriguez already hit in the top of the 7th, but I think I'm just misconfusing him with Alex Rodriguez, I think. Either way, Ivan Rodriguez leading off the top of the 8th here. Grounds it over to the second baseman. An easy play for the second baseman, and that'll retire Rodriguez. Up next, Jeff Conine. Abinduct will stay until someone pinch hits for him. That is an option. They may be pinch hitting for Abinduct if they get to him. That would be either the 8th or 9th inning, so they will have a chance for that. Drummond up against Jeff Conine here. Conine's going to pop it over to the shortstop. Over to first they go. A little bit high, but a nice reaching grab right there by the first baseman, Lewis. And that'll be an easy second out for the inning, and it'll leave it up to Maria Luna to be able to keep the half inning alive. Over to first base, and it'll be a single right past the first baseman, Lewis, who tried to make a snag at it but couldn't get it in time. Maria Luna will be on first, so that'll bring up Petrovic. The solo homer back in the 4th. Drummond needs to be careful right here. They're throwing behind Maria Luna at first. Not in time, though. She's back safely as she had to dive back in head first for that. Nice try right there by Dandruff to think about getting Maria Luna napping over at first base. So they'll have to pitch to Petrovic, and they're going to walk Petrovic on a full count. So the free base is given to Petrovic, which will bring up the pitcher, Abenduct. So they give the Windsor Whistlers an opportunity to pinch hit, but they will not. They will not pinch hit for Abenduct, as he will be hitting here in the top of the 8th inning. So they're going to keep him in the game, and this should probably kill any rally attempt they have here, as he will fly out to the center fielder. Quite a long fly, but right at the center fielder, who makes the catch and retires the half. So they leave the runners at first and second on the hit and the walk, and it'll be 4-1 heading into the bottom of the 8th. The Bismarck Mythics need to get something started right here. They're going to let Drummond hit because he's actually a pretty decent hitter. So I actually agree with this move. I would definitely have looked at pinch hitting for Abenduct. With 100 pitches and getting into the top order of the Mythics, if you have a better relief pitcher, I would have gone for it. But that's just me. But I do agree leaving in Isaac Drummond here to pinch to hit, because he's actually a really good hitter with his 56 power. So 250 batting average for the season so far for Drummond. 1 home run already on 2 hits in 8 at-bats. Abenduct going past 100 pitches, but he'll strike out Drummond. Number 8 for Abenduct. And that'll leave it up to the top of the order now. Andrew Fox to lead us off with 1 man down. Sorry, not leading us off, but 1 man down here in the bottom of the 8th. Andrew Fox up at the plate. Needs to get something started right here. 0 for 3 for the evening so far is Fox. And here comes the pitch from Abenduct. Up the middle it goes. Is it going to fall? No! Garciaparra makes the running grab in short center field, and he'll retire Fox. A nice play right there by Garciaparra, with that range and speed to come through and make that grab. David Van Hute might be the last person for this half. You kind of want to leave yourself with a better opportunity in the next inning and not spoil Kevin Lewis. But at the same time, you almost want to just keep going with the 2 out hits if you can get some here. By the way, the Bismarck Mythics have replaced some people. I just realized this. Conine has been taken out of the ball game. Petrovic has been put in center field, and Cindy Chang has replaced Petrovic at second base for the better defending infield. So they're going with the better infielders at this point, just in case they get ground balls. So smart move right there by the Windsor Whistlers. You don't need the offense, you need the defense now. So David Van Hute, 2 men down here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Benjamin Abenduct looking for another strong half. This is going to be pushed out towards third base. It's going to go through into the hole, and in for a single is David Van Hute. So a good job right there to get the single into the hole on the left side, and it will bring up Kevin Lewis with a runner on first base. 108 pitches has Benjamin Abenduct. So a bad situation right here. You could give up a 2-run shot pretty easily to Kevin Lewis if you're not careful. Lewis looking exactly for something akin to that. He has 3 homers in the season so far, 10 RBIs, 116 power. And we'll see what they can do right here. Abenduct wants to get out of this inning smoothly. He's going to have a full count on the way. This is out towards center, but it's a lazy fly ball. In comes center fielder Petrovic. Has to hustle, but he makes the grab. And that will end the inning for the 8th. So unfortunately, Kevin Lewis cannot get anything done. And we will head to the top of the 9th. Isaac Drummond is still pitching with 45 pitches already to his name. I'm not sure I can agree with this right here. But Drummond is still pitching in the top of the 9th inning. 4-1 Whistlers. And we'll see if they can add on anything else to this lead as they have the top of their order here in the 9th inning. I'm assuming Drummond's probably going to do 1 batter and then be done. Drummond, oh, that's a booted, oh, the shortstop couldn't quite get the fielding correctly done right there. Fox mishandles the ground ball from Greenberg, and that'll be a runner on first base. So what would have been the first out of the inning instead ends up being the first error of the game. And instead, that will be the end of Drummond's night. They will bring in Eric Gagne to remember, or to hopefully retire the rest of this half. So this is the closer right now for the Bismarck Mythics. He looks very good in his hot pink uniform. I actually think he actually looks really good in the uniform, to be all honest. Official scorer is biased. Not an error, it's a hit. I mean, I don't know. Andy Greenberg does have some pretty good speed, but I got to admit that was definitely a booted ball right about there. Eric Gagne has to go against Tony Gwynn Sr. and Fabtron 7 at least. We'll see what he can do right here. Gwynn's going to put it out in front of home plate. Catcher goes to second. I think they got the runner at second base. Nicely done by Dandruff to get the speedy runner Andy Greenberg at second base on the little dribbler out in front of home plate. Wow, that was a fantastic throw by Dandruff to get the runner at second just before he reached there. Oh, Caster is biased. Dandruff, he's no flake. Oh my gosh, you guys are ridiculous. So that'll leave it up to Fabtron 7 to see if they can get something started here in the top of the ninth inning. Gagne already getting some help from his defense behind him at this point. Well, actually, that was in front of him, technically. And Fabtron's going to put it out towards right. That's going to fall in for a single, though. Around second, heading toward... Nope, they're going to hold up Tony Gwynn at second base. And that'll bring it around for Nomar Garcia-Parra. Runners on first and second. Not a lot of speed on the field right now for the Whistlers. But Garcia-Parra could probably make this game well out of reach with one swing of his bat right here. He's going to put it out towards center. Center fielder's ranging to his right. Makes the grab up against the wall. Gwynn will tag up and go to third. A good job right there by Gwynn to be able to recognize the hard chance of getting him out at third base, as Powers has an arm but was up against the wall having to track that down. And that'll bring it to Ivan Rodriguez. So 2 men down for the inning. Runners on first and third. Gagne's only thrown 9 pitches. And a chance here for Ivan to really put some damage on the board. He's going to put it out towards short, and the shortstop can't get it. It'll go through, and that'll be a single driving in the 5th run for the Whistlers at this point. They will extend their lead to 5-1, and their lead is now 4, as Ivan Rodriguez was able to muscle it by the shortstop, who was diving for it right there, Andrew Fox. So, unfortunately, they will tack on the insurance run, pushing it at least out of save range at this point for the Whistlers. So, interesting right there. Cindy Chang, not a good hitter, but a good speedy fielder, is up next, unfortunately. She replaced Jeff Conine, and she'll strike out to Eric Gagne on a couple of pitches, and that'll finally end the top of the 9th inning. So that error, unfortunately, does come back to bite the Bismarck Mythics, as they are now down 5-1. They're down 4 runs. In the bottom of the 9th we go. And that pretty much puts it out of contention, unfortunately, in my opinion. Unless Abinduct really blows up here in the bottom of the 9th, they, I don't even remember who the Whistlers have as their closer at this point. Who do they have? They've got Tom Glass, Billy Mendelson, and Ray Tran. Not the best relievers, but Tom Glass can pitch. This game needs some more players submitted elite relievers. Yes, it does. That is the one thing that Season 2 will hopefully have more of, is elite relief pitchers, because we don't have enough of them. Alex Rodriguez is going to lead us off here in the bottom of the 9th inning. They're going to have Rodriguez, Soriano, and Dandruff, so a good chance to be able to at least do something at this point. How many pitches has he thrown? 114. Abinducte's thrown 114 pitches, 8 strikeouts, 2 walks, which are the first 2 walks of his season. But he's only given up 1 run, so you can't really fault him. He's done very well. Alex Rodriguez looking to get on base here in the bottom of the 9th. Pops it up to the first baseman. The second baseman calls him off, makes the grab. Cindy Chang makes it look easy right there. And unfortunately, that's the first out of the inning, as Rodriguez got really aggressive on that first pitch. Alfonso Soriano is going to be up next. Abinduct looking for a quick, speedy inning right here to get a complete game. Soriano's going to fly it out towards right. On comes Tony Gwynn, makes the easy grab, and that'll be the second out of the inning. One final chance here for the Bismarck Mythics to prevent at least the complete game, but just to keep the game alive at this point as well. As Dandruff comes up to the plate, he's 1 for 3 for the evening so far. Abinducte looks in for his sign, kicks back and fires. And Dandruff's going to put it on the ground to the first baseman. Abinduct covers first. And that is a complete game for Benjamin Abinduct. He doesn't have the dominant strikeout results we're normally seeing from him, but he does get the complete game 5-1 victory, as the Whistlers will take down the Mythics and move on to 4-5 for the season. And bringing the Mythics down closer to them, they finish and are now 5-4. So a good performance from a couple of the pitchers. You can't fault Tetcher for 3 runs in 6 innings and 12 strikeouts. You just can't. Just came in to watch Self. There's to be determined. Yep, that's a complete game for Abinduct, unfortunately. Or fortunately, depending upon who you want to root for. We've got a lot of people on both sides, so it only makes sense. Only 8 strikeouts and 2 walks, though. So to be honest, it was not a great performance from Abinduct. It was good. The 1 run is great. But, yeah, 4 people hit by Tetcher. 2 of them being Tony Gwynn Sr. So I may have to look into that a little bit, because that's a bit too much. But, yeah, 4 people hit by pitch. I don't know what to expect about that, to be honest. So that ends the week, guys. And these are our official standings after April 29th. The Apollos reign supreme in first place, 8-1. With the Ducks in second place at 7-2. The Cluckers and the Goats at 6-3. A lot of teams at 5-4 and 4-5. A couple teams at 3-6. And then the Giants and Pioneers are all the way down at 2-7. Because that game only took us 50 minutes to be able to play, we can try to get to our next game, and we'll see if we can get around to it. So let's find out what we can do. So, Jason Giambi is batting .444 for the season. Mikey Thomas has 6 home runs. They are your leaders for the batting average and homers area. I forgot it keeps doing this. Griffey Jr. got batter of the month, batting .355, 5 home runs, 15 RBIs. He definitely was that. And Abinduct, of course, got the best pitcher of the month, after he went 4-0 with a 1.26 ERA. So, amazingly done right about there. He also got, he just got top vote getter for Rookie of the Month as well, which is, of course, everybody's a rookie in this league, so there's no real reason to believe that's to be anything special. So don't get too full of yourself to be determined, all right? All right, you can win awards, but the Rookie of the Month award means absolutely nothing. At least that much is for certain. The playoffs, that's a great question. Playoffs for this league are going to be ladder style. We're doing an interesting approach to playoffs. I believe the top 6 or top 8 teams are going to be playing in a ladder style playoff. And we're going to be able to see the bottom teams try to take on the next seed up. And then whoever wins the entire thing is going to win the entire thing. So it's much easier if you finish in the top 2, and it's going to be much harder if you finish in the bottom 3. So your instinct is your job is to try to finish top tier. All right. Yeah, I think a lot of people like ladder style. It really emphasizes on regular season results making an impact on your playoff chances. So like the Apollos right now be sitting very pretty. They're pretty much guaranteed to be in the finals if they continue to stay in first place. So they're very happy about that, and I think that is a good representation of how they've done during the season. I feel like ladder style is just a good one all around for us to be able to utilize. All right, games for today as we enter into May. We're going to be seeing the Cluckers versus the Captains, the Mythics versus the Pioneers, the Koalas versus the Marmots, the Squirrels versus the Whistlers, so a lower-end combat right there. The Robins versus the Giants, the Warlocks, and the Goats. And then we're going to see the Ducks versus the Manatees, the Nobles versus the Apollos, oof, and the Memphis Kings versus the Louisville Swatters. Get your Cluckers out, guys. All right. Let's see how this goes. The Kansas City Cluckers do not win their game, unfortunately, against the Virginia Beach Captains as they fall in extra innings. Oh, man. The Virginia Beach Captains score 5 unanswered runs in the 9th through 11th innings and come back to beat them in extras 11-9. 17 hits versus 12. We had homers to Column, Tomey, Beltre, Roughcut, Murray, Rollins, Floyd, Guerrero, and Peters. So the homers were going everywhere in the Captain's Stadium. Good grief, that's a high-scoring game right about there. You got your first homer of the season. Nicely done right there, Rough Cut. Nicely done. Like to see those first homers coming through. The Mythics versus the Pioneers. This should be the Mythics games. Oh, they lost. Oh, dear me. The Mythics failed twice in a row as Holiday strikes out 10. Doc Holiday has a great performance against the Bismarck Mythics, carrying the Portland Pioneers to a 4-1 victory, even with the solo home run going to Kyle Lewis in the first inning. The Mythics are not doing well now officially, as they fall to 5-5 on, only on 2 hits. So the offensive struggles continue for the Mythics into the number 2 game. So that's not a good day so far for them, unfortunately. Oof. So the Portland Pioneers are now 3-7. So congratulations to them getting out of the bottom feeder section. So the Koalas versus the Marmots. This is a 5-4 team versus a 4-5 team. Schilling versus Delgado. And the winner is the Koalas. Homers for Burnitz and Captain Tennille and Molly May as the Koalas come back to win it in the 8th inning, 4-3. A lot of hits for both sides, but good job by the Koalas to advance to 6-4. The Marmots fall to 4-6. And Captain Tennille's happy. Squirrels and Whistlers. Chance here for the Betty Houston-Maria Luna matchup. Both have been having good seasons so far. Both teams are 4-5, so a chance here to be able to separate yourself from the pack and get into the higher seeded area. And the winner is going to be the Windsor Whistlers. Whistlers win 8-3. No home runs for either side as Maria Luna goes 6 innings, 1 earned run, 9 strikeouts. And the Squirrels fall to 4-6, and the Whistlers will advance to 5-5. Same record as the Mythics. So from a team that was literally 3-5, and the Mythics were 5-3, they have swapped places and are now both 5-5. So how the turntables have... No, wait, that's not right. The Lansing Robins versus the Toronto Giants. This is yours truly's pitching for the Toronto Giants. Let's see if we can win a game, guys. Please. Can we please win this game? Please. Please get me at least 3 runs of offensive support. I mean, I know my ERA hasn't looked that good. 5.47 is not that good. But we got to win some ball games, guys. Come on. Pico de Gallo versus Alex Murray. And the winner between the Robins and the Giants is the Giants! We finally scored some runs. Dominant performance. I'm number 1 player of the day so far. There we go. 7 innings, no runs given up, 13 strikeouts. A dominating performance by yours truly against the Lansing Robins as we beat them 6-2. Homers for Levi Brocht. Weber gets her second save of the season. And Pico de Gallo didn't do too bad, but it is his second loss of the season at this point. Yes, I am now best performance of the day. Yes. Not for long, though. Don't worry. I'm assuming somebody from the Apollos game is going to get player of the day. That always happens. So at the moment we have Bijin, actually, from the Giants. Had a 3-for-3 performance as well. So congratulations to Tokai. Congratulations. I don't think we'll review box scores for this one. I think we're just going to kind of go through games, and then I'll give you guys the statistics in a spreadsheet afterwards, if you guys are okay with that. So stay on the Discord, and I'll update you guys as we finish today. So, Warlocks and the Goats. 3-6 Salem versus 6-3 Durham. This is definitely the Goats' game to lose. So, Lauerman looking to get that ERA down a little bit at this point. And the winner is... Ooh! Salem racks on 15 points. Homers for Estrada, Alex Gonzalez, and 2 homers for Juan Gonzalez. Wow, Salem destroys the Durham Goats, moving to 4-6, and the Goats move to 6-4. It is upset day. It is. The Giants are winning. The Warlocks are winning. The Squirrels lost, but Portland is winning. Everybody who is the underdog at this point gets an advantage at this point. Juan Gonzalez goes 2 for 3 for the day, 6 RBIs, 2 home runs, 2 runs scored, 3 walks. Zenon Estrada gets number 2 performer of the day at this point, 2 for 4 with a double, home run, 3 RBIs, 4 times scored, and 2 walks, as again, the Warlocks destroy the Durham Goats 15-6. Durham did have homers for Jason Kendall and T. Richardson, of course. Just should throw that out there at this point as well. All right, let's see if the Ducks and the Apollos can keep their first place and second place finishes. The Ducks versus the Manatees. Nancy Chin versus Ramona Bennett. And the winner is the Coral Springs Manatees, 11-2, as they take down the Downey Ducks. Oh, that's great to see. 11-2. Home runs going to Olafson for the Ducks, and then Pappas, Chico Pappas has his third, or is that a girl? No, it's a guy. Chico Pappas has his third. Is that Jose? Jose Meisenheimer gets his 4th of the season, and Pee Wee McGee gets his 1st of the season. Or her 1st of the season. I don't know what these faces. I'm sorry, guys. Come on. Anywho, a good performance from Bennett. Ramona Bennett has a good day. Arthur Gonzalez for Salem ends up getting now player performance number 3. I guess I'm knocked out by a catcher, I guess. All right, fine. Sure, that's fine. But the Downey Ducks move to 7-3 as it is, in fact, upset day, guys. It is upset day. The Manatees move to 5-5. The Downey Ducks, of course, move to 7-3. Let's move on. Everybody get your boos ready or your yays ready if you want to root for the Queens Nobles. Nobles versus the Apollos. Ed Baker versus Evan Screwball. Let's go, Screwball! And the winner between the Nobles and the Apollos is the Apollos, of course. Winning the victory 10-5, 9 hits against 7. A pretty solid victory right there by the Apollos. They move to 9-1. Ken Griffey Jr. hits his 6th home run of the season. Shovel Bryant adds on 2 homers and has 6 for the season at this point. And Heffernan adds her 4th of the season. Unfortunately, you did not get the win. My apologies about that. Worthington and Uchida had homers for the Queens Nobles, so I'm surprised that Mikey Thomas didn't get on board with a homer right about there. Player of the day right there was Shovel Bryant. His 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, 3 times scored in his walk. 2 for 4 performance right there by him. And the last game of the evening is the Kings and Swatters in Louisville. This is Tim Hudson versus Shooter McGavin. And the winner of these two is going to be the Louisville Swatters. It went into the 7th inning before it was decided. Homers went to Louisville's Frazier and Gloss. But the Louisville Swatters get to even out their record and even out the record of the Memphis Kings. So we have a lot of people now at 5-5. So looking at the standings really fast, the Apollos have extended their lead in first place. They are now 9-1. So a great job by the Apollos to keep that lead at this point. Downey Ducks drop down to 7-3. We have 4 people at 6-4 now. The Cluckers, the Captains, the Koalas, and the Goats. The 5-5 teams, we have 5 of those. The Whistlers, Swatters, Manatees, Mythics, and Kings. We have a couple 4-6 teams, 4 of them to be exactly correct. The Robins, Warlocks, Squirrels, and Marmots are all now 4-6. The Squirrels and Marmots, by the way, have a 4-game losing streak apiece. The 4-game losing streak for the Queens has now tied them for last place with the Pioneers and Giants, who both won games this week. So a great job right there by the bottom place teams to at least get those records up to 300 winning percentage. So we'll have to see if the Apollos can keep going as we continue to move forward. Cade Munson is now officially your league leader in batting average, 452. Shovel Bryant, Ken Griffey Jr., and Mikey Thomas are all tied with 6 home runs. Dante Robinson has tied up Schlabotnik for 7 steals. And the pitching side of things at the moment, Billy Mendelson, I believe he's actually another starter. No, he's a relief pitcher, has a 0.90 ERA. Abenduct, of course, with his 1.26 is right there. Jay Green leads the league in wins of 5. He has pitched 5 games and has 5 wins. And Villegas tops out the strikeouts list right now with 66. Abenduct has the win. The War lead at the moment with a 2.6. Behind him, Hellerman and Tipton at 1.8 and 1.5. 6 saves for Matessa Sturgis. That's the Apollo's closer at this point. And that's impressive, to say the least, right about there. Yes, we are going to be doing more games. Absolutely, we're doing more games. We have to get all the way till close to the end of May. So we'll be doing at least another 20 minutes of games, and then we might be doing one more game that we watch, and then we'll finish up at that point. Oh, gosh, there we go. That's going to be a fun couple of games. We have the Downey Ducks versus the Kanata Koalas. That's Villegas versus Jay Green, and then we have the Toronto Giants versus the Houston Apollos. I like upsets, but I don't think the Toronto Giants are going to upset the Houston Apollos. I just don't see it. The Manatees are up against the Warlocks. The Marmots are up against the Kings. The Goats are up against the Mythics. The Captains are up against the Robins. The Pioneers are going to be playing against the Squirrels. Swatters against the Cluckers. And the Whistlers will go up against the Queen's Nobles. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's see if Jay Green can keep up that 5-0 record. He's tied up Martinez for 5 wins for the season. So a chance for both of these aces to be able to keep having a good season. But again, this is the Kanata Koalas. They've got a good offense, and their ace has one of the best strikeout numbers in the season so far. So let's see what happens between the Kanata Koalas and the Downey Ducks. The Ducks will win it 4-1 as Jay Green helps his own cause with a home run to go alongside a 7-inning, 9-strikeout performance. He goes to 6-0 with a 1.94 ERA. Villegas has a quality start, I believe, but he just couldn't keep up as the... he went 8 innings and gave up 4 runs, so it's not a quality start for Villegas, unfortunately. Riverboat was our number 3 performer of the day, but it was all Jay Green, as I believe that was probably a 2-run homer. It was. So Jay Green won that game all by himself. 2-run homer, only 1 run given up, 7 innings pitched. Of course, Olofsson came in for the save. And a great performance right there by Jay Green continues to show off why he believed he should have been the 1st overall pick and not the 7th overall pick. So, interesting about that. All right, it's time for the big game of the week. The Giants versus the Apollos. Can the Giants continue their winning streak and take down Pedro Martinez? My answer is probably no. I don't think they're going to. The answer, however, is yes! 3-0. The Giants upset the Apollos. The Houston Apollos are taken down 3-0 as no home runs against either team, but Percy Pounder has a complete game shutout. Wow. Pedro Martinez throws a quality 7-inning performance, but his offense fails him for the first time all year. He will move to 5-1. Oh my gosh, this brings the Ducks within striking distance. You're right, this is fantastic. Oh, so the Giants move to 4-7. The Apollos see their 2nd loss of the season. And wow, what a performance from Percy Pounder there. That I was not expecting. I was expecting it to be like a high-scoring, like maybe 7-5. They pull out a victory, but not 3-0. 7 hits for the Apollos, but no runs. So a fantastic performance by Pounder. And the Toronto Giants offense squeaks out a victory against the Houston Apollos. That's fantastic. Wow, I feel so proud of my Giants. I'm so proud. All right, Manatees versus the Warlocks. Randy Johnson versus Amanda Hellerman. Hellerman has one of the best ERAs in the league right now. She's right behind Green at the moment and Abenduct. And the winner of this matchup is going to be the Coral Spring Manatees. Randy Johnson gets it done as the Manatees rally in the 8th inning for the victory. They will beat them 3-2, and they will move to 6-5 as the Warlocks drop a game and go to 4-7. A great performance right there by the Coral Springs Manatees to pull that game back and get the save for Willis in the 9th inning. So a great performance. Again, I keep saying that, but a good job right there to pull out. Those are the kind of wins you need right there. Oh, that's fantastic. The Marmots versus the Kings. This is going to be Leo Wayne versus Greg Maddux. Maddux has not been performing so well this season, but it's upset day. So you know what? At this point, I'm expecting a complete game shutout from Greg Maddux. And we got close. We got close. Greg Maddux ends up going probably more like 7 or 8 innings in this ball game. He went 7 innings, he up 1 run. And the Marmots beat the Kings 5-2. Moving both of their records to 5 and 6. So a lot of the teams are starting to try to jostle for ground on the standings at this point. It's going to get closer after today. No home runs against either team. We've only seen 1 homer so far today, guys. So the difference between your first starter and your second starter is this. No homers except for the one by the pitcher, Jay Green, in the first game of the day. Let's see if we can get some more homers here between Ryan Tetcher and Angela Delvecchio. Let's see if Tetcher can get some revenge for the bad outing he had last time where he got saddled with the loss against the... that was up against the Whistlers. That's right. So let's see who wins out of this one. Delvecchio versus Tetcher, and the winner is going to be Tetcher, who comes out ahead with the victory for his squad. Not the win he was looking for, as he does give up 3 more runs, but Alfonso Soriano with 2 homers. That adds up to 5 for the season, and Gagne will get the win as he came in to relieve, and then the Mythics win it in the bottom of the 8th inning with their 2 runs to break open the tie after coming back in the 7th. So a great performance right there by the Mythics, finally getting their offense around in the 7th and 8th inning, brings their record back up to 6 and 5, tying them with the Durham Goats, which was important because the Goats were looking to get closer to the first place position, and this takes them a step back. So good job right there by the Mythics to saddle themselves with a win, and a good performance from Tetcher at least. I'm assuming it was a good performance from Tetcher. Okay, this time Delvecchio hit 3 people. Tetcher only hit 1. But 11 strikeouts, 1 earned run given up. So they had 2 fielding errors, one by A-Rod, one by the first baseman. And that accounted for probably 2 of the runs. So there's your problem right there, Dishnet. You had some bad defense, unfortunately. But it really should have been a 5-1 victory for the Mythics. So that was a dominant performance from the Mythics outside of those errors. All right, the Captains versus the Robins. This is Earl Abbott versus Grace Tipton. Both have had really poor seasons so far, and the winner is going to be the Captains, winning it 4-3. Abbott gets his 2nd victory of the season. Jay Mills has 2 home runs for the Robins, but they cannot secure the victory as they have homers for Middleton and Epps. And they will beat their game 4-3 against the Robins, moving themselves to 7-4. So the captains are spacing themselves out from the crowd at this point. So a good job right there for the Captains. All right, Pioneers Force versus the Squirrels at this point. 3-7 and 4-6. One of the low dog matchups at this point. Hamilton versus BD, and the winner is going to be the Portland Pioneers. Staving off the rally in the bottom of the 9th. So the Portland Pioneers were owning it until the bottom of the 8th, and then came back to take the lead in the top of the 9th, and then almost gave it up in the bottom of the 9th. Wow. So that moves both of their records to 4-7, which means the Nobles are now in dead last. Our game is dead. The Queens Nobles are dead last in the standings. If they win, they tie. If they lose, they're definitely dead last. Yes, some of these game times are a little bit off. I probably will be adjusting them down the road. Like, they should all be starting at 9 o'clock at that point. But the spacing out is pretty good. But anywho, good performance by the Portland Pioneers, coming back with their 11 hits. Homers for Kathy Wolf. Kathy Wolf, that's a hard one to say. But then Mike Piazza had his 3rd homer of the season. Centennial Squirrels with Sophie Mayer with her 4th homer of the season. Let's do the next one. Swatters at the Cluckers. This is Angelique Harding versus Todd Xavier. Todd Xavier did not have a good performance last time he started, but we've got to see what they can do this time around. So, 5-5 Swatters versus the 6-4 Cluckers, and the winner is the Cluckers win 6-3 against the Swatters. Homers to Alex Simon and is that Marty Big Fly? Marty Big Fly, his second of the season, first for Alex Simon. They scored 5 runs in the 5th, and Todd Xavier ran those 5 runs to a victory. He now is 4-1. Harding is now 1-4. So the Kansas City Cluckers are 7-4 for the season. That puts them in a good spot with the Apollos reeling from their loss against the Giants. And our last game of the evening, Abendut continues to try to dominate. He's 4-0 for the season, looking for his 5th win. Tiffany Bosworth wants to try to get something better than what she's done so far at her 0-3 record, 6.04 ERA. She's much better than this, too. She should be winning a lot of these games. So let's see who wins between the Whistlers, 5-5, and the Queens Nobles, who are 3-7, but are 3-1 at home. And the winner is going to be the Nobles! Mikey Thomas with the only run support in the game. The solo shot off of Abendut. And Abendut will move to 4-1, even after an amazing performance. But Bosworth outduels him in the Queens matchup. Wow. 7th homer of the season for Mikey Thomas. I believe that gives him the home run lead. And we still have our 3-way tie. In fact, I think it's actually now a 5-way tie for dead last in the league. But I was not expecting the Queens Nobles to beat the Windsor Whistlers and Abendut. That is amazing. Save goes to Khan. He now has his 4th save of the season. I got to see the box score for this. Hold on a second here. Bosworth goes 8 innings, 3 hits, 11 strikeouts. Abendut goes 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run. The 1 solo shot to Mikey Thomas, 12 strikeouts for the evening. But Mikey is the only reason why that game didn't go to extra innings right about there. Wow. How did I add historical players? I just simply went to the free agency section, actions, import historical player, I always choose minor league database, enter in their player ID, the year you want to import, and import them. That's what I did for all of the players that are here. So for people like, where are they? Ivan Rodriguez, that was his, what year was this technically? 27. This was his 1999 season. We imported him from 1999, and this is what came in. So yeah, player ID from Baseball Reference. That's correct. You can use Baseball Reference, or you can use the databases themselves. They actually can be opened and viewed. All right, so at the end of May 6th, we have a 6-way tie for last place. So everything just got all messed up. The Squirrels are on a 5-game losing streak. A bunch of the higher-end winning streaks have been snapped. The Giants are on a 2-game winning streak. There are so many teams, 6-5, 5-6, and 4-7. It just boggles my mind. The Apollos lost. The Ducks and Captains won. The Cluckers won. We have all sorts of upsets today. The past 2 days have been completely all over the place. So let's move into our number 2 starters games. We're going to be seeing the Cluckers versus the Marmots, the Robins versus the Swatters, the Ducks versus the Warlocks, the Queens Nobles, and the Portland Pioneers. 2 of the last place teams going at it. The Apollos play against the Virginia Beach Captains. Yes. Very, very nice. And the Mythics and the Manatees, both 6-5 teams, are going to be playing against each other as well. So that'll be a fun matchup as well. The Giants are going to play against the Whistlers, so that'll be Luna versus Murray. Centennial Squirrels versus the Goats. Impressive. So the Goats have a good chance to go to 7-5. And then the Kings versus the Koalas, with the Koalas looking to go to 7-5. All right, so let's get started. Cluckers versus the Marmots. Bull Green versus Delgado. Bull Green has not had a good season so far. And it's not helping with that kind of a performance either, as the Cluckers will lose their game 13-7. So the Baker's dozen coming through for the Marmots as they go to 6-6 and make the Cluckers go to 7-5. Wow. Delgado had a good performance, 10 strikeouts in 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. Marks with the 2 home runs for the Marmots. 5 RBIs, 3 runs, and a walk. To go with his 2-for-3 performance, Tuck Eddy also having a good performance for the Marmots. 5 for 6 with a double home run, 3 singles, a 2 RBI performance and 3 times scored. Nevin hits his 2nd homer of the season. Thome does hit his 4th homer of the season for the Cluckers, but that's not what you want to see as a Cluckers fan right about there. The Marmots go to 6-6. Cluckers go to 7-5. So let's see how the Robins and Swatters will do. This is Pico de Gallo versus Shooter McGavin. And the winner of that matchup is going to be the Robins. Pico de Gallo has a good performance. Jay Mills hits his 6th home run of the season. Nick Lundstrom has his first. Ahmed Khan has his 3rd homer of the season. But the Swatters fall to 5-7, the same record as the Robins, as they lose the game 6-3. Wow. We need a new number 2 starter in Kansas City. That 9.77 ERA is a big ouchie. Yeah. Yeah, the Cluckers did not draft a good number 2 pitcher, and it shows. All right, the Ducks looking to go to 9-3 on the road against the Salem Warlocks. This is Nancy Chin versus Kenny Kawaguchi. Kenny has been really good so far for the Warlocks. I actually want to give advantage to the Warlocks right here, but the winner is going to be the Warlocks. 2-0 victory as Kenny Kawaguchi goes 7 1/3 inning, 7 strikeouts, 3 hits, 1 walk given up, no home runs for either side, but a 2-0 victory for the Salem Warlocks brings them up to a 5-7 record, and the Downey Ducks move to 8-4. So the Ducks have lost 2 in a row. At least I think they've lost. No, they've lost 2 of their last 3. My apologies. They won last week, or the last game, but they lost the one before that. So the Ducks are starting to fall behind a little bit. The Apollos will be given a chance to move ahead at this point. A lot of people need a better number 2 pitcher. A lot of people don't have good number 2 pitchers. So this is where a lot of teams start to fall behind. So let's talk about our last place matchup here. The Nobles versus the Pioneers. Both teams are 4-7. This is Ed Barker versus Doc Holliday. Both had amazing performances. Both had amazing performances in their last starts. So let's see if they can keep it up. And the winner between the Nobles and Pioneers, it's going to be the Nobles. The Queens Nobles have moved to 5-7, back-to-back victories as they win it in extra innings, coming back in the 9th inning, winning it in the 10th. Bagwell had a homer for the Portland Pioneers. Uchida had her 2nd homer for the Queens Nobles. Nothing from Mikey Thomas, which is kind of surprising, but a 6-4 victory is still a 6-4 victory in the eyes of the Nobles, and you guys can boo all you want about that. The Nobles moved to 5-7. The Portland Pioneers moved to 4-6, which means they are now officially our last place team at 4-8. My apologies, 4-8, not 4-6. 4-8. All right, the big one. Now we have the big one. The Houston Apollos versus the Virginia Beach Captains. 4-7 teams so far today are 3-1. I mean, we just had one play the other, but yes, you're right. This is the game of the week right here, guys. Evan Screwball, Jessica Wasarsis. Wasarsis? A 9-2 Houston Apollos team versus a 7-4 Virginia Beach team at this point, and the winner is the Virginia Beach Captains. They take it to Houston, 6-3 on 12 hits, homers for Floyd and Guerrero. That's Cliff Floyd, by the way, and Vlad Guerrero Sr. 4th and 5th homers for them, respectively. Green had his 3rd, but it was not enough for the Houston Apollos, and the Apollos are falling apart. I think this is now back-to-back losses for the Apollos, who are now 9-3, giving other teams plenty of time to be able to come back at this point. Great performance from Wasarsis. Doesn't top our top 3, but still a great day. 2 Houston errors. You're right, Captain Tennille. 2 errors for Houston. Those were by Sturgis and Heffernan. That's the catcher and the left fielder. So not a good showing right there. All right, the 6-5 matchup. Mythics versus the Manatees. Mark Hart versus Bennett. Bennett had a good start in her last attempt. I think she outdueled somebody else. Or no, that was the Greg Maddux matchup. No, Randy Johnson beat. somebody else in the last matchup. And then somebody else won with Bennett doing a good job in her last start. But either way, Mythics versus the Manatees. And the winner is going to be the Coral Springs Manatees. 5-3 is their victory over the Mythics. That will put the Mythics at a 500 winning percentage. I'm pretty sure now that the Mythics are on a 3-game losing streak, I believe. No, they won against the Goats. That's right. But they were on a 3-game losing streak, beat the Goats, and have now lost a 4th game in their last 5. So the Mythics are reeling as well as they lose this game 5-3. Gagne couldn't hold it together in the 8th inning, and the Coral Spring Manatees will move to 7-5, keeping them on pace with a bunch of the other people who are higher up in the league. So a good job right there by the Manatees. All right, let's see if the Giants can keep this going. They would love to go to 5-7. It's going to be Murray versus Luna. I had a good performance last week. Let's see if I can keep it going against Luna. Luna has been phenomenal as a starter. So I don't know how well we're going to do. Also, the Giants don't do so well on the road. We're technically 2-3 at home, but we're 2-4 on the road, so I don't see this going very well for us. But the winner between the Giants and the Windsor Whistlers is going to be the Giants! I saw Luna at the top of the screen, and I was like, oh no, she had a good performance, and she did. But nobody could score until the top of the 11th inning, as it was a combined shutout for the Giants, giving up 10 hits. They only got 2 hits as support, as the pitcher hit the homer. Ashley Weber comes in as relief, hits a 2-run home run potentially in the top of the 11th inning, and they win it. How on earth? I go 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, quality start. Luna goes 8 innings, shutout ball, 8 strikeouts, only 1 hit given up. Brock got caught stealing twice. That's his 6th time getting caught stealing. But Weber comes in the 10th inning, hits the 2-run homer off of Glass in the top of the 11th, and the Giants win their 3rd in a row to go to 5-7, tying the Whistlers. Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, imagine getting 10 hits, scattering those 10 hits over 11 innings, and losing to a team that can't hit until one of their relief pitchers comes in and gets a lucky home run. Oh. All right, Squirrels versus the Goats. This is Betty Houston versus TJ Lauerman. 5.04 ERA versus the 7.92 ERA. So I'm not expecting too much from this game right here. The winner is going to be the Durham Goats. TJ Lauerman has a better performance today as he does get the victory. Beatty, Fabic, and Bluer get homers for the Centennial Squirrels, but it's not enough as they tried to rally in the last 3 innings. As Riddle and Pujols have home runs for the Goats, they will win 11-7. Oh, yeah, you gotta love the entry pool for PT stuff. The entry pool for PT is amazing. Pujols gets player of the day for that game, and the Goats will move to 7-5 as the Squirrels now are in last place, tied for last place, I believe, at 4-8. I believe this is the Squirrels' 5th loss in a row. So press your Fs for the Squirrels at this point. They have fallen so hard at this point. All right, the last game of the day. Memphis Kings versus the Kanata Koalas. Pablo Sanchez and Kurt Schilling versus the Kings, who have Tim Hudson on the mound. And the winner is going to be the Memphis Kings with a comeback victory in the top of the 8th inning. Homers to Leah Wayne and Lindsey Felgate as they beat the Kanata Koalas 4-2. Schilling still got player of the day. Player of the game, my apologies. But unfortunately, Nick had a problem, unfortunately, in the 8th inning. Couldn't hold the game together. And the Kings and Koalas will now both be 6-6 on the season. So the standings after May 10th look like this. The Squirrels have lost 6 in a row. The Manatees and Virginia Beach Captains, along with the Toronto Giants, have won 3 straight. The Captains are now tied for second place, 8-4. The Apollos have lost 2 in a row. They are now only 1 game ahead of the Ducks and Captains. We have 3 teams at 7-5. That's the Cluckers, Manatees, and Goats. The Marmots, Mythics, Kings, and Koalas are all 6-6. And the Robins, Nobles, Giants, Warlocks, Swatters, and Whistlers are all 5-7. The Pioneers and the Squirrels round out the bottom of our standings at 4-8. So many 5-7 teams. A lot of them are on comebacks. The Nobles and Giants are on comebacks. The Robins and Warlocks are treading water, but the Swatters, the Windsor Whistlers, and even like the Kanata Koalas are all starting to fall apart on 2-game losing streaks. How many games for the season? We get to play 2 games against every single other competition team, so there's 36 games in this season. So we're just getting through May. We have a lot more to get through. So unfortunately, guys, we're not going to get to that second game to watch today. Unfortunately, we will have to do that next week, I'm afraid. Because on May 27th, which is what we're trying to get to May 27th, we have a game on the 27th we want to watch. And it's a long way to go till we hit then. So let's start speeding things up a little bit, shall we? So today, we're going to be seeing the Kings versus the Ducks, the Swatters and the Apollos, the Warlocks and the Mythics, the Koalas and the Cluckers, the Marmots and the Robins, the Captains and the Whistlers. Good matchups all around. Pioneers versus the Giants. Chance for the Pioneers to tack on an easy win against the actually resurging Giants at this point. The Goats have a chance to keep going as they are 7-5 up against the Queens Nobles at 5-7. And the Manatees have a good chance to go to 8-5 as they play against the Centennial Squirrels. All right, let's do it. The first one of the evening, the top 2 games. The Ducks and the Apollos, can they keep a pace of everybody else in the standings? The Kings say no. 7-0 as Leah Wayne outduels her counterpart Jay Green. And a 7-0 shutout. Not a complete game shutout, but a combined shared shutout for the Memphis Kings as they take down the Downey Ducks. Homers to Derek Jeter, his first of the season, and Kirk Reeder, his first of the season. So a good job right there for the Kings to upset the Ducks, moving themselves to 7-6 out of that 500 range, and the Ducks now have more to scrap for at this point. They're dropping down in the standings most likely from that. The Swatters versus the Apollos. That was also, you're right, that's also Jay Green's first loss of the season. Even though he only managed to give up 1 run in 6 1/3 inning, he still is tacked with the loss for that game. Leah Wayne goes to 3-2. All right, Swatters versus the Apollos. The Swatters are 1-5 on the road, and the Apollos are 5-2 at home. So I don't think this is a good matchup for the Swatters. It's going to take a miracle to be able to beat Pedro Martinez. But then again, I said that about the Giants versus the Apollos. So, hey, anything can happen. Oh, and almost anything could happen as the Apollos walk it off in the bottom of the 9th as they were down by 3. In the bottom of the 9th, the Swatters had it. They had it. Ken Griffey Jr. gets player of the game, 5 RBIs on his home run as well, and the Apollos sneak a win out from under the Swatters to move to 10-3. Oh, man. Radke just can't hold it together after the Louisville Swatters score 8 runs. 8 runs in 2 innings pitched. Those 7th and 8th innings are terrible for the Apollos. Gross hit a homer, his second of the season. Heffernan hit his 5th. Ken Griffey Jr. now has 7 homers for the junior. Sturgis hit her first of the year. But the Apollos do win, and they move to 10-3. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm afraid Radke's going to need to stay low for a day or two at this point. Oops, my apologies. All right, I need some water really fast. Let's keep going. The Salem Warlocks versus the Bismarck Mythics. Chance for Tetra to be able to prove again that he's still the dominant ace that he is. And he does. He won't get the win, but he'll do the 6 1/3 inning, 3 hits, 15 strikeouts for Tetcher, and 1 walk only, as the Bismarck Mythics do get the win, 1-0. I'm actually really surprised he didn't get, because he got taken out in the 7th inning, which means that Du Bois will get the win, and Gagne will get the save, even though Tetcher gets player of the game, and he's now officially player of the day number 1. Bismarck Mythics move to 7-6. Salem Warlocks are now 5-8. Next on the list is the Kanata Koalas versus the Kansas City Cluckers. Juan Villegas, and I believe he is still leading the league in the strikeouts right now at 76. Although Tetcher probably has something to say about that. He's got 75. Okay. First and second. Du Bois? Am I mispronouncing that? Is it just Du Bois? It's a New Orleans pronunciation, so it's semi-French. But I also remember all the pronunciations. Dubois? The Backyard Baseball game never pronounced it as Dubois, unfortunately. So I go off of what Backyard Baseball pronounced it at, which was Du Bois. We'll call him Du Bois at this point. Dubois? Oh, it's Dubois. Dubois. Oh, good grief. The game does pronounce their names, but I don't even think the game really cared about the pronunciations, because kids my age, when they were like 10, would have looked at Du Bois and been like, how on earth is that Dubois? That's not Dubois. That's not how you spell Dubois. It would have confused so many young kids who were just learning how to spell. Unfortunately, so I think they mispronounced it. They mispronounced it purposefully because it would have confused so many young kids. But yes, Marquis Dubois gets the win for the Bismarck Mythics, and then Gagne. Is this Gang? I'm sorry, I'll stop doing that. Gagne gets the save for the Mythics. French about to throw baguettes at you. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Oh, dear me. All right, Koalas versus the Cluckers. Xavier versus Villegas. This is the high strikeout matchup right here for Villegas. 76 so far for this for the season. And the Koalas will lose it, though, 10-1 as the Cluckers dominate. Xavier has a fantastic performance, but even better performance from Biggie Beltre. 2 home runs, his second and third of the season. Rough Cut has his second homer of the season. They win 10-1 on 15 hits. Bring out the Clucks. Bring out all the Clucks in the chat. That's a great performance right there by the Cluckers. Good job right there, taking down the Kanata Koalas. We have not seen much from Pablo Sanchez in a long little while here, guys. I'm starting to get a little bit concerned that Pablo's not doing very well. So the Cluckers move to 8-5. The Koalas move to 6-7. And that brings us up to our Maddox versus Tipton matchup. This is the Marmots versus the Robins. And the winner between Maddox and Tipton is going to be Tipton. She outduels Greg Maddox 2-0. No home runs, and both teams are now 6-7. Save going to Dobbs, her third of the season. Tipton has a 7 1/3, 10 strikeout performance, 4 hits, no walks, no runs in a 2-0 win for Murfreesboro. Congratulations to the Marmots for that win right there. Imagine Greg Maddox losing to a 12-year-old. Technically, we do age up all the kids to like 22. Technically, this is like 32-year-old Greg Maddox versus 21-year-old Grace Tipton. So, hey. Unfortunately, this is not peak 100 Greg Maddox. We were not allowed to pick anything besides 1999 or 2001 for him. So we picked, I believe it was 2001. I think. Either it was that or it was 1999. It was harder. It was not his better seasons, unfortunately. All right, here's a big one right here. Earl Abbott and the Virginia Beach Captains, 8-4 on the season, 4-2 on the road against Benjamin Abenduct and the Windsor Whistlers, 5-7 and only 2-5 at home. And the winner between the two is going to be the Virginia Beach Captains, who come back to score 3 runs in the top of the 9th inning after being dominated by Abenduk for most of the game. They tie it on the blown save by Glass, his second blown save of the season, and then win it in the 13th inning. Wow. Middleton and Rollins combine for their 3rd homers of the season, and the Virginia Beach Captains move to 9-4, and they take away Abenduk's chances at another win. So Abenduk keeps his ERA down around 1.53, but he has only a 4-1 record. Yeah, the walks are still not happening. He's only had 3 walks and 90 strikeouts, so he still isn't walking anybody. But, yeah, great performance by the Virginia Beach Captains, moving to 9-4. That keeps them 1 game behind the Apollos. They would have tied them if the Apollos had lost. So, good job right there by the Beach Captains, or by the captain. I keep calling them the Beach Captains. It's just the Captains. Just Captains. So an impressive performance right there by the Captains, bringing up their record. The Whistlers moved to 5-8 as they had home runs to Jeff Conine and Fabtron 7. So a good job right there. All right, here we go. The bottom feeder teams. We've got a couple here. The Nobles, the Giants, Pioneers, and the Squirrels. First up, Pioneers versus the Giants. Percy Pounder versus Cody Hamilton. Hamilton has not done so well, so the Giants want to keep this rolling here. This is where you gotta win these lower end games too. But they will not, as they fall to 5-8 as they lose 4-1. Pounder cannot repeat the shutout performance he had in his last start, as he gives up a homer to Kenny Lofton. The solo homer to Carlos Delgado was the only offense the Giants got. And Hamilton will move to 1-3. Pounder moves to 2-5. And the Portland Pioneers and Toronto Giants are now both 5-8. Ouch. I mean, we can still have the Squirrels lose, and we won't be dead last. Up next on our list is going to be the Goats versus the Nobles. Angela Del Vecchio versus Tiffany Bosworth. Good matchup here for the Nobles. They're 4-1 at home, so this should be the Nobles win, and it is the Nobles win. 10-5. They scored all of their runs after Del Vecchio left. And they managed to scrape a win against the Durham Goats. The Goats moved to 7-6, keeping them out of the top tier of the standings. The Queens move to 6-7 as they get to the bullpen of the Goats team. And all the boos rain down as the Queens are starting to do pretty good at this point. All right, the last game of the day. It's the Coral Springs Manatees versus the Centennial Squirrels. This is Randy Johnson versus Christina Beatty. I'd have to give it to Beatty looking at their records. Randy Johnson's only 0-1 for the season. But let's see who wins. This is for the tie or the lead of last place. If the Squirrels want to be dead last, they can lose. If they want to be tied, they can win. And the winner is going to be the Centennial Squirrels, my apologies. A shutout from Christina Beatty with the save going to Levine. Beatty herself hits the home run as well, her 3rd of the season. And the Centennial Squirrels will tie a couple of teams for last place at 5-8 as the Coral Springs Manatees fall to 7-6. So our standings look like this, with the Apollos and captains, the Apollos and captains taking the initiative and leading the league at 10-3 and 9-4. The Cluckers and Ducks are at 8-5. A lot of teams are at 7-6 and 6-7. So we're scattering the 500 percentages around a little bit. The Marmots and Queens, mostly just the Queens Nobles popping out of the bottom tier at this point. Swatters are dropping down, and the Whistlers are dropping down into the bottom half of our lineups. Squirrels can't tank properly. They really can't, unfortunately. Unfortunately, they cannot. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams once again at the bottom of the standings, all at 5 and 8. So we'll be heading into our next series with a lot of teams tied for dead last. We'll have to see how this goes. We're going to be seeing the Goats versus the Giants. So the Giants go on the road against the Goats. That'll be Murray versus Lauerman. The Captains are going to go up against the Pioneers. Chance to keep the Pioneers down. The Squirrels will go up against the Warlocks. That's a tie for last place matchup right about there. The Robins up against the Koalas. Both are at 6 and 7. The Ducks are playing the Mythics. Oh boy, this is going to be a fun one right about here. The Whistlers are up against the Swatters. Both are at 5 and 8 on their winning records at this point. The Cluckers are going to be up against the Kings, 8 and 5 versus 7 and 6. The Nobles are against the Manatees, 6 and 7 and 7 and 6. And then the Apollos have to play against the Marmots. That's the top leader right now. That's Screwball versus Delgado. So let's see what happens. All right, first game of the day, Giants versus the Goats. And the Goats demolish the Giants, 10-2. Not a good performance right there for either me or the Giants offense, unfortunately. As 15 hits come across for the Goats, and they will go to 8 and 6, dropping the Giants down into sole position of last place for right now at 5 and 9. So not a good showing right there for the Giants. We'll have to see if they will have any company. I mean, I think they will. They have to have at least one person join them in last place. But let's see if we can get a lot of them coming down to 5 and 9 or not. The Cluckers must have the worst number 2 starter in the league with that ERA. I don't know. I think you could be making you could have a chance at saying, who was it? Yeah, Bullgreen, 9.77 ERA, 0-3. I'm sorry, that is the Cluckers. You're right. Yeah, the Cluckers. They do not have a good pitcher. Hopefully that can come back down. I mean, you've got Shooter McGavin and Betty Houston as the alternatives at that point. But yeah, that over 9 ERA is not a good sign. All right. Captains versus the Pioneers. Let's see what happens between this two matchup right about here. Captains really should beat them, and they do, 8-6 as a comeback victory for the Captains. Again, Portland's bullpen is just not doing it. They have a homer for Hoffman, but they give up 8 runs in 3 innings, and they will lose their game 8-6, falling to 5 and 9. The Virginia Beach Captains move to 10 and 4. Wow. All right, the last place team here at this point, Squirrels and Warlocks. Let's see who wants to beat each other up at this point. And it's going to be the Squirrels finally getting a victory. They win 12-4 as they demolish Kenny Kawaguchi. Sophie Mayer has a good evening, 2 home runs, and she went 2 for 2 with 2 walks as well. So the 2 homers, the 2 walks, the 3 RBIs, and the 4 runs scored. Beatty had her 4th homer, Del Vecchio had his 4th, and Arthur Dane had his 2nd. But the Squirrels finally erupt for 7 runs in the 7th, and they will beat the Salem Warlocks, who now go to 5 and 9. For the Captains Pioneers one, that's what it looked like right about there. That was just kind of like you're going to lose. Oh, you have a chance at least of winning it. Nope, you're going to lose, and you've lost. Yeah, that's a bullpen blow-up type of WPA if I've ever seen one before. All right, Pico de Gallo versus Kurt Schilling. This is the Lansing Robins versus the Kanata Koalas. Both teams are 6 and 7. Let's see who wants to win. And it's going to be Kurt Schilling and the Kanata Koalas who win it. How did he pronounce it again? Bure? I don't remember how he wanted it pronounced now. Hold on. He gave me the naming of how to pronounce it. I want to make sure I do this right before I get it wrong. B-Rye McBourbon has a great performance for the Kanata Koalas, hitting the home run in the 5th inning, and they will win their game 3-2, moving to 7 and 7, and the Lansing Robins move to 6 and 8. So a good job right there. Good performance from Kurt Schilling. Nice outing for him. He gets player of the game. Gets his record up to 3-2 and a 3.20 ERA. So a good job. All right. Ducks versus the Mythics. Nancy Chin versus Brenda Markart. And in the end, The Ducks will prevail 2-1. A close game as Louie comes in, gets her 5th save of the season. Lewis does hit his 5th homer of the season for the Mythics. Nova, that's Supernova, has a homer in the 3rd for the Ducks, and the Ducks will move to 9-5, sending the Bismarck Mythics to 500 at 7-7. All right. Whistlers versus the Swatters. Both teams are at 5-8, which means we'll have another person tied in last place for whoever wins and whoever loses. Luna's doing very, very well for the Whistlers. I don't think they're going to lose this. But they will. They will lose this game 4-3 as Luna gets her 2nd loss of the season. Her ERA goes up to 2.20. Tim Gross hits his 3rd homer of the season, and the Swatters will go to 6-8 instead, and the Whistlers will go to 5-9. All right, the Cluckers versus the Kings, 8-5, 7-6. Bull Green could really use some better performances for the Cluckers. Otherwise, they'd be in first place for sure. And they continue to fail. Bull Green drops the ERA down to 8.84. But he loses his 4th game of the season, giving up, I think, only like 3 or maybe 5 runs at most, but they lose 6-2. The offense of the Cluckers was alive in the 1st inning and then dead the rest of the way. Tomey hits his 5th homer for the Cluckers. Tim Hudson, the pitcher, hits his 1st homer for the Memphis Kings as they will move to 8-6 and take the Kansas City Cluckers down to 8-6. So unfortunately, that doesn't allow the Cluckers to try to remain upwards with the other Downey Duck team. 9-5 is what their record ended up going to, unfortunately. Yeah, more of a squawk, less of a cluck. So the Giants did play. We lost our game 10-2. Unfortunately, we got destroyed by the Goats. All right, Nobles versus the Manatees. The Queens Nobles are looking to keep going with the good performance they've had so far, and they also want to get the Manatees to 500. I don't think they're going to, but let's find out. They're not going to, unfortunately. The Manatees win 6-2. They continue their dominant home performance as they are, I think they're now I'm pretty sure they're 4-1 at home or something like that. They're really good on their home record as the Nobles, unfortunately, will lose 2-6. Homers to McCoy. That's Bobby McCoy, the shortstop for the Queens Nobles, and a home run finally for Larry Walker, who got player of the game for the Manatees. Not player or performer of the day, but that's okay. And Manatees go to 8-6. Queens Nobles fall to 6-8. And the last game of the day, the Houston Apollos versus the Murfreesboro Marmots. This is Evan Screwball versus Tom Delgado. Both have a 5.0 ERA plus, and in Screwball's case, the plus. The Apollos are good on the road. They're good anywhere, pretty much, to be honest. So let's see what the Apollos can do on the road at Murfreesboro. And they will lose. The Murfreesboro Marmots move to 500 with a dominant performance from their pitching staff, as they win 3-2 even after giving up 2 errors. But they have 9 hits, and they have a good performance from Delgado, and they will beat Houston to make Houston go to 10-4 and Murfreesboro go to 500. So these are your official standings. We now have 4 people tied for last place: the Warlocks, Giants, Whistlers, and Pioneers. First place is now tied as the Captains have tied the Apollos for first place. The Ducks are second, technically second. They're really third. The Manatees, Kings, Cluckers, and Goats are all tied for the 4th place and beyond spots at this point. So this is getting crazy at this point. The Captains are coming out of nowhere. They're having a dominant performance so far. And we'll have to see what happens with their aces coming up next. So we're going to see the Marmots versus the Whistlers. That's Greg Maddux versus Benjamin Abenduck. This is now May 20th. We just got to go through 2 more games, guys. 2 more games, and then we're done. And then we can get started for next week, and I'll get you guys stats and everything else. So, Maddux versus Benjamin Abenduck. Let's see what Maddux can do. This is bad for both teams. Both do not do good. The Whistlers haven't done well at home. The Marmots don't do good on the road. So who wants to win? It's gonna be the Whistlers. The Whistlers will win their game behind Abinduct, who goes 8 1/3 inning, 7 hits, 1 earned run. Maddox still has a good performance of 8 innings, 4 earned runs, but the homer to Ivan Rodriguez and a 4-1 victory for the Whistlers will pull the Murfreesboro Marmots back down into the second half of the standings. The Kanata Koalas will go up against the Houston Apollos. This is Villegas versus Pedro Martinez. This is going to be a big matchup right here, as we would like to see Pedro versus Pablo. Let's see what happens. And the Houston Apollos are dominant again. The 8th home run for Ken Griffey Jr. as they win 4-0 behind a dominant 16 strikeout performance from Pedro Martinez. He moves to 6-1, 1.98 ERA. It was a shared shutout for the Apollos, who moved to 11-4. Villegas had 17 strikeouts. You're right. Wow. So the strikeout kings are flashing it tonight. All right. Tetcher and his Mythics versus Beatty and the Squirrels. Good chance right here to be able to make some distance between the middle of the pack and the upper pack, as the Mythics want to get back into the better swing of winning. And in the end, they will not. Tetcher gets roughed up in his start, unfortunately. Moves to 3-2 as Beatty has a solid performance. 6 innings, 0 runs given up. And the Mythics can't mount a resurging offense past the 6th inning. Even with Soriano's 6th homer of the season, McThumpers has his first homer of the season. And the Centennial Squirrels will match records with the Bismarck Mythics at 7-8. Man, you gotta win those games right about there. You just have to. The Manatees are away against the Giants, so we're going to be seeing Percy Pounder versus Randy Johnson here in Toronto. The Toronto Giants could really use a win right about here to avoid going for the first double-digit loss record in the league. But they will not get it, even after the homer by Bijin. They lose 2-4 to the Manatees, unfortunately. And they will drop to 5-10 as the Manatees pick up the win, go to 9-6 behind Randy Johnson, who had a solid performance, moving his record finally into the win category at 1-2 with a 3.31 ERA. Mystic Players Only meeting. It's not my fault today. I hit a homer. Yes, you are not at fault today, at least. All right. Goats versus the Beach Captains. I keep calling them the Beach Captains. That's going to bug me forever. The Goats versus the Captains. 8-6 versus 10-4. This is Angelo Del Vecchio versus Earl Abbott. Both pitchers have not been doing so well so far this season. They got to pull this around for each team at this point. And the Goats will lose, unfortunately, which means we're going to be seeing a still a tie at first place for the league, as the Captains go to 11-4 behind a dominant performance from Abbott. The Goats couldn't mount her much against him, unfortunately. And the Goats will fall to 8-7. The Captains go to 11-4 with their 4-2 victory. Swatters are at the Pioneers for this game. Both teams do not do good in the situations they're at, but they'll have Hamilton versus Harding. And in the end, the winner is going to be the Portland Pioneers, are going to come away with the victory, staving off a tie for last place at this point. I'm kind of feeling bad for our Giants now. I mean, we're not doing too bad at 5-10, but we are the only team with double-digit losses right now. So that's not good. The Pioneers win 4-2. A lot of 4-2 victories today, as Hamilton has a good, solid performance. No homers given up on either side. By the way, Peters hit his 5th homer for Virginia Beach. But Portland staves off the double-digits loss record at this point, and it'll only be up to the Warlocks now to potentially have the 10 losses at this point. So Swatters unfortunately couldn't mount the comeback in the 9th inning, and they will lose, with a save going to Weber, even though her ERA is up around the 7s. Cluckers at the Ducks. The Ducks are amazing at home, and they have Jay Green. I don't have much faith in the Cluckers right here. And they will lose, unfortunately. The Ducks do come through with the victory. Jay Green moves to 7-1 on the season, a 2.00 ERA, so a 2 flat. 5-3 is the final. The Ducks move to 10-5, putting them right behind our first place people. The Kansas City Cluckers now move to 8-7. That's a tough one right there, unfortunately. You're not expected to win it, but you've got to win that one right there. Jay Green definitely gunning for the Cy Young, definitely gunning for that. Why was I not drafted first overall ranking around the league? All right, Kings versus the Robins. 8-6 Kings, 6-8 Robins. This is Leah Wayne versus Grace Tipton. I would give this to the Kings all the way. And the Kings do win it 3-0 against the Robins. A dominant performance from Leah Wayne as she gets a shared shutout with Crockett. Homers to Singh, Felgate, and Jeter, all solo homers off of, I believe, Tipton and whoever came in to replace her in the 8th inning. But Leah Wayne, 8 1/3 inning, 10 strikeouts. A great performance from Leah Wayne, trying to keep up with Jay Green at this point. She is technically Jay Green's counterpart. Good hitting, good pitching. So she's good. She's very good. And the last game for May 20th is the Salem Warlocks versus the Queens Nobles. This is Amanda Hellerman and Tiffany Bosworth. So the Queens Nobles have a hard one here, but they are great at home. So let's see if the Queens Nobles can pull it off, and they will. So we are going to have a second team in the 10-loss column as the Salem Warlocks score 2 runs in the first and then can't muster anything else up. The Queens Nobles will move to 7-8. Bosworth down is 2-3 as they win 5-2. And Salem moves to 5-10. So we now officially have 2 teams, my apologies, in the bottom part of our standings. We have a tie for first and a tie for last. 11-4 Captains, 11-4 Apollos, and then the 5-10 Warlocks and Giants. Still have a lot of chances, and I still have a lot of games to go through, guys. So let's do one more. One more game before we call it quits for the evening. This is our last Sunday game. If you're not getting drops, double check your connection to make sure it's working correctly. But drops should be happening. I know we had gotten some stuff resolved about an issue or just some slowness. It may also be that it's just very slow. We have gone over 2 hours, so this is our usual. All working great over here. So I would double check your connections. If you're not getting drops, double check your connection on Twitch. Make sure that it's correctly assigned. So let's really quickly review the players of the week. That was Shovel Bryant, Pounder with a report about his complete game. Tuck Eddie going 5 for 6 against Kansas City. 200th homer for Tomey. Player of the week went to Mills. Congratulations to Mills. A 5-hit day for Timmy Unger. Conine got player of the week for his 714 batting average. 1 home run, 2 RBIs in 2 games. And then, of course, we had a report on Martinez fanning 16 people. So, of course, we had to do that. So, the last game before we pause our simulations for the 27th, which is going to be our next big game that we're going to actually watch. So this is the last one we're going to do for tonight, guys. Need to re-log in. They are working. Oh, okay, yeah. If you're not seeing them, log back out, log back in. And you should see them pop up then. All right. So the big matchups today. Looks like we're going to be seeing a couple of teams that are 7-8 play against each other. That's the Mythics versus the Nobles. That should be a fun matchup, actually. The Captains versus the Manatees. Big game. Big game right there between 2 of our top-tier teams. The Apollos are playing the Kings. Another big game right about there. Oh my gosh, the last place teams are playing against each other. The Giants and Warlocks get to play each other. So we'll see how that goes. And then the Robins, Cluckers are playing each other. Pioneers and Marmots are playing each other. All right, so the big games are going to be the Captains versus the Manatees, Apollos versus the Kings, and then our last place battle for the basement at this point. All right. Let's do this after I get one last sip of water. The Captains and Manatees were the only teams you wanted to be drafted by. Oh, dear me. Start with the basement. All right, let's start with the basement. Let's start with the one that's going to probably break my heart. All right. Toronto Giants versus the Salem Warlocks. We'll do that first. The 5-10 basement feeder teams, Murray versus Kawaguchi, and the winner is going to be the Giants. Not the best of performances by either starter, but the Toronto Giants do manage to squeak by with the 8-6 victory, bringing them to 6-10, and the Salem Warlocks go to 5-11. I didn't do too bad. That's still a quality start. 6 innings, 3 runs given up, 7 strikeouts. Kawaguchi did similar. 7 innings, 3 runs, 8 strikeouts. But Mahoney, for the Warlocks, blows it in the 8th inning for 5 runs, as most of it went to Hayes, Bacon Bits, a little bit to Brock and Delgado, but overall a good performance. Bajin had the RBI on, I'm guessing, a sacrifice fly or something. No running game at all for either of the two squads, but the save going to Weber, the win ends up going to Joseph. I'm not even going to try pronouncing that last name right now. My mouth is so tired, I'm not going to try that. And even though Kawaguchi gets player of the game or player of the day so far, that's going to go away pretty soon. But a good victory. A good victory for us Giants fans at this point. Why are you just calling out my 0-3 day like that? Yeah, I mean, you're 0-3. What am I going to do? I can't magically make it like 2-3. You were productive. You got a run. You had an RBI, and you had a walk. So you scored a run on a hit that was probably a fielder's choice or a sacrifice fly. So that was good. You scored us a run. You scored yourself once. We didn't have a lot of speed, though, and I'm worried about that speed. But otherwise, a good day for Giants fans. 6-10 we are. We have a chance to now have a lot of people join us in the 6-10 record. And let's see if we can get those around. All right. Swatters versus the Durham Goats. This is McGavin versus Lauerman. The Swatters win 18-6. They get all over the Goats' bullpen. Alex Simon and Annie Frazier have good performances for the Swatters as they have 18 runs on 19 hits. The Swatters got a swat as they destroy the Durham Goats, who move to 8-8. The Swatters are now 7-9. The Nobles versus the Mythics. This is Ed Barker versus Brenda Marquette. Both teams are 7-8. Not anymore. The Nobles continue their winning ways as they beat the Mythics 4-2 on 10 hits over 5. Kahn gets his 8th save of the season. Every single game the Nobles win, they have to save it. That's impressive. That's really impressive. And that's only their 2nd road victory. That's correct. That is unusual for them. The Mythics had solo homers for Soriano and Lewis, 7th and 6th homer of the season for both of them, respectively. Let's get to the big one. Captains versus the Manatees. The Manatees are excellent at home. The Captains are excellent on the road. Wasarsis versus Bennett. And the winner is the Coral Springs Manatees. Come with a fervor in the first 3 innings, scoring 11 runs, and they cruise to a rather tight victory in the end. A 14-11 victory for the Coral Springs Manatees. Homers to Vlad Guerrero for the Virginia Beach Captains. Bennett, Allen, Meisenheimer, and Cordova hit homers for the Manatees as they get a win against a really tough competing team in the Captains. They move to 10-6. The Captains fall to 11-5. Whistlers versus the Koalas. I am still waiting to see Pablo Sanchez get anything started at this point. I'm really hesitant to see his statistics at this point. But let's see what happens here. Koalas are at home against the Windsor Whistlers. This is Luna versus Schilling. And Pablo comes through. Player of the day, player of the game. Pablo finally pops up on our screen for the first time all day. A 3-for-4 dominant performance from Le Secret Weapon. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, 2 runs scored, and a walk to go along with his 3-for-4 performance as the Koalas take down the Whistlers 10-1. That's what we were expecting from Pablo. Pablo who no longer. We all know who Pablo is now. Yes, he also knocked you out of the top 3. Oh, that's a good job right there. Finally, Pablo comes through. He's been quiet. He was 0 for his last 14 at-bats with only a couple of walks and a lot of strikeouts to show for it. But finally, finally comes through when his team needs him the most to keep his team at 500. Wow. Woo. The Manatees box score? Sure, I can show that off. This is an 11-14 victory right here. So this is their box score. Lots of doubles, lots of homers, lots of runs scored all over the place. If you didn't get a hit in this game, there's something wrong. So, Walker, what's wrong? That's basically the answer right there. Wow, 4 pitchers. I mean, what's amazing, it wasn't even like an extra inning game. Oh, was Sarsis caught out early because of those 7 runs. That second inning, she just couldn't get out of it. Man, that's tough. All right, Ducks versus the Squirrels. We've got 5 games left to go through, guys. This is Nancy Chin versus Betty Houston. Let's see if the Ducks can keep going. And they won't. It's a walk-off. A walk-off home run, or potentially a walk-off for the Squirrels. Let's see if it was a homer or not. It was a walk-off run-scoring single, my apologies, but they tied it on a 3-run homer by Nancy Bluer, and the other 3-run homer for the day was Jason Giambi back in the 4th, and the Ducks go down. They fall to 10-6. As the Squirrels finally get a dominant, much-needed win against the top-tier team, they now move to 8-8. Again, homers to Jason Giambi, his 3rd of the season. McThumpers had his 2nd. Nancy Bluer had her 2nd. Paulo Sanchez, by the way, that was his 5th and 6th homer of the season, so he needs more of those kinds of performances. Yes, the Squirrels have won some big ones. We'll review their calendar in a second here. I'm going to finish up these games first. The Apollos have a chance to keep themselves in first place after the Beach Captains lost their game. In fact, they could have sole possession of first place here with a win over the Memphis Kings. This is Screwball versus Hudson. And they will not. It's another walk-off. The Memphis Kings come back in the 9th inning scoring 3 runs and then score a run in the 12th to beat the Houston Apollos. Goffinen has 2 homers for the evening. That's his 6th and 7th homer of the season. Griffey Jr. has his 9th. But it is a walk-off single again, this time Goffinen. So Goffinen had 2 homers and a walk-off run-scoring single to beat the Houston Apollos. So by himself, defeating Houston. That's impressive. So Houston will not retain full possession of first place. They will tie with their counterparts, the Virginia Beach Captains, and we're going to have 3 teams at 10-6, potentially. No, that's going to be it, unfortunately. 3 teams at 10-6. That's going to be the Kings, the Ducks, and the Manatees, all within 1 game of first place. So this is going to be a tight finish when we get around to the end of this month. The Robins and the Cluckers. Let's see if the Cluckers can finally get some breathing room. They're very good at home. The Robins are very bad on the road. The Gallo versus Bull Green. Bull Green could really use a good start, and he gets it. Bull Green drops the ERA down to 7.19 as he throws 8 2/3 of shutout baseball. There we go. That's the performance the Cluckers were looking for from their number 2 starting pitcher. 13 strikeouts, 8 2/3 of an innings pitched, 2 hits. Will Ney gets his 2nd homer of the season, the catcher for the Cluckers, and a good performance right there. Nicely done. All right, our last game. Last game for the day, guys. Pioneers versus the Marmots. Let's see who wants to finish. Potentially with the other team to finish with a double-digit loss record at this point. The Marmots don't want to go to 7-9, and the Portland Pioneers don't want to go to 6-10. Doc Holliday versus Tom Delgado, and the winner is the Murfreesboro Marmots as they win 14-6. A dominant performance from the Marmots offense as they have homers from Raul Mondesi, Alan Dunkel, Ryan Johnson, Ricky Johnson, and Molly May. Dobbs and Hoffman both hit homers for the Pioneers, but they've scored most of their runs in the top of the 9th inning, and they will fall to 6-10. So our standings, ladies and gentlemen, for the end of our stream here at this point, and I'll get you guys all statistics in the Discord later, so don't worry about that. I'll get you guys them. We have a tie for first place. 11-5, the Captains, 11-5, Apollos. The Manatees, Kings, and Ducks are all on the outside looking in. very close behind them, 1 game behind. The Salem Warlocks have finally, I wouldn't say finally, but they have been given the basement. The final, last position is now officially the Salem Warlocks' to hold and own, as we have 4 teams at 6 and 10. We've got a lot of teams around the 7 and 9, 8 and 8 record. We only have 1 team at 9 and 7. That's the Cluckers. The Swatters need to step it up. Absolutely they do. They need to have better offensive productions, and they'll be just fine. The Giants continue to stay put pretty much just near the bottom half of our standings, but we have a lot of time to go through, guys. Stephanie Morgan on a 16-game hitting streak. That is all 16 games she has gotten a hit. So our batting averages have dropped a ton. Luke Guffanen has now become potentially the all-star / MVP of the league. He has 7 home runs, a .387 batting average. Ken Griffey Jr. is right up there as well with his 9 home runs, leading the league. 26 RBIs, also leading the league in front of Albert Pujols at 22, and Greg Peters from the Captains with 19 RBIs. A good performance from those guys so far. Stolen bases, it's all Slobotnik right now. 10 stolen bases ahead of Tuck Eddy and Chris Jacob. Pitchers. We've got Abenduct with his 1.48 ERA, but he has struggled a little bit. He only has a 5-1 record. Beatty's right behind him with a 1.95, and Pedro Martinez right behind her with a 1.98. Jay Green leads the league in wins at 7 wins out of, 8 starts? He's 7-1. He did get his first loss of the season. Villegas has been doing very well. Pedro Martinez has been doing very well. There's only so much we can really talk about. Amir Khan has had 8 saves for the Queens Nobles for all 8 of their games, as the Apollos have not gotten many more save situations for Matessa Sturgis. We started the game off, Matessa Sturgis had saved, I think, 6 of the 8 games for the Apollos, or 6 of the 9 games, and now it's flopped. It has flip-flopped over to Amir Khan. The Queens win their games very close, but they do save them. So we'll have to see what happens next week, guys. We're going to be coming back to this. We're going to see what happens when we watch our next game, which if I go ahead and advance to that game, we can at least see what it's going to look like. So for the 27th, we are going to be watching. This is going to be Greg Maddux versus, I believe, Angela Del Vecchio. This is the team that has also along with it. So this is going to be an 8-8 team versus an 8-8 team. Albert Pujols, Jason Kendall, he who must not be named, up against Phil Nevin, Marcellus Marks, Raul Mondesi, Ichiro Suzuki. It'll be a fantastic matchup next week, guys, so please come back to watch that. Your drop pack has been on fire, and there's another thing you guys can do. You guys can come back and get some free packs, so win-win at this point. So we'll see what happens next week, guys. The standings have been moving around all over the place this week, so we'll see what happens about that. We're going to see some pretty cool matchups. We'll go through all of the rest of May and June, my apologies, next week. So stick around for that next week, guys. Thank you so much for watching for this evening. I'll get you guys the statistics for this league exported in a couple minutes here so you guys can look through those, see how your players are doing, see if there's anything that looks off or on about this all. And I will see you all next Saturday. Have a great rest of your weekends, everyone.